It's time for Intelligent Machines, the show we talk about AI with Jeff Jarvis and Paris Martineau. Our guests this week have created a really useful website for students and anybody who wants to understand the good and the bad of AI. Carl Bergstrom and Jevin West talk about the BS machines next.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Intelligent Machines with Jeff Jarvis and Paris Martineau, episode 836, recorded Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. I see OJ, and he looks scared. It's time for Intelligent Machines, the show where we talk about all the latest AI news, robotics, and the little doohickeys all around you that are getting smarter and smarter and smarter. Paris Martineau is here, and she's going to join us in a little bit. She's investigative journalist at Consumer Reports. Jeff Jarvis is also here, professor of journalism at emeritus at the City University of New York. See, I avoided the mention of Craig Newmark's Graduate School of Journalism.
Whoops! It snuck in there.
Author of the Gutenberg Parenthesis magazine.
Niagara Falls.
Slowly I turned. So a little explanation. Remember last week I had explained how the logistics worked. We recorded the interviews last week and this week out of order due to scheduling issues. So last week, and I hope you heard a really fascinating interview with Karen Howe, the author of Empire of AI. This week, we were going to talk to two professors from the University of Washington who've done some really good work on teaching their students, and by extension, all of us, how to think about AI, how to be a critical thinker when you encounter AI-generated content, how to determine if it's AI-generated. And I thought it was really, really good. So, and unfortunately, Paris was not here for that interview, but we were very fortunate. Harper Reed joined Jeff and me as we interviewed Carl Bergstrom and Jevin West. So we're going to go to that, and then when we come back, more Intelligent Machines. Watch. Hello, everybody. Our guests today on Intelligent Machines are intelligent, which is nice. They're actually professors. But first, before we get to them, let me introduce Harper Reed, who is filling in today for Paris Martineau, at least for this portion of the show. Great to see you. Harper.blog. His company is an AI guy, 2389.ai, and of course, always a welcome guest on our shows. Thanks for joining us, Harper. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. Jeff Jarvis is here, professor of journalistic Innovation Emeritus at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of Newmark. Also at Montclair State University and currently at SUNY Stony Brook. His books, the Gutenberg Parenthesis, now in paperback magazine, now in audio, and of course the Web We Weave, which is a manifesto to preserve our glorious internet.
Good to see you, boss.
Yes, I think this is a good topic. I'm excited. Some years ago, Carl Bergstrom and Jevin West wrote a book called Calling BS, which was the art of skepticism in a data-driven world. But you have been teaching. But first, Carl, welcome, and Jevin, welcome to Intelligent Machines. Great to have you.
Thanks so much. It's great to be here.
Professors
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Professors, sorry, Jeff?
Professors themselves.
Yes.
Full titles in here.
Yes. You guys teach at UWA? Is that where you?
Yeah, University of Washington, yep.
Yep. I say UWA because if I say UW, it's unclear. So UW.
Wisconsinites get kind of mad about
They get upset. So let's be clear. Washington State. So let me ask you both, what's your technical discipline? I don't think there is a BS degree at this point. Well, there is.
I put it on my CV. I now have studies on my CV.
I think a school of BS would do well. Yeah.
We do very well. I've got a BS from University of Washington.
BS and BS, yeah.
But what do you teach normally? What is it? What is the academic discipline?
Well, my background's in biology, actually.
Oh, interesting.
I teach a course on evolution and medicine and how evolutionary thinking can sort of inform our medical curriculum. I've taught courses on I've got a whole textbook on evolution. I've taught various courses on game theory and animal behavior and epidemiology and all of that.
That's cool.
Really interested in misinformation a number of years ago through conversations with Jevin.
Yeah. And
So-
Jevin, are you a biologist?
Well, I actually have a PhD in biology, but I'm now in an information school, which is basically a group of scholars that don't really have a home. So I study technology and the ways that it can impact our everyday lives, can impact institutions like science. So I take, I'm mostly a computational social scientist now. So study the ways in which rumors spread online and in science. But like you said, bullshit study spans everything. So we've had so many courses are from disciplines that have also taught the course are from psychology, engineering, business, et cetera, et cetera. So it is one of these spanning disciplines.
I am going to kind of deviate a little bit, Carl, just because I clicked your website and I am just blown away by your beautiful bird images. You're
Thanks, Leo.
bird
Appreciate
photographer as well.
Yeah, I've always loved birds ever since I was a kid.
Man.
So gives me a chance to reconnect with the biology that I fell in love with.
Yeah, that's great. So this is all very timely, and I think people, I'm going to steer people to the Calling BS website, which we, to keep it family friendly, are not spelling it out. But if you look at the lower third, or go to the website, you will see the actual link. This is let me pull it up before you show it here, because I'm on the book.
Also, Leo, there is a non-swear word version. If you go to callingbull.org, you won't have the swear.
Oh, you're so smart.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's for the original course, not for the LLM bit.
Oh yeah, that we get this. Okay, yeah, because I want to show. So what you've done, which I think is really cool. You've developed, I guess, a curriculum to help your students parse all this stuff, right? That they're dealing with in the world today. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a huge challenge, right? How do you be a scholar or a writer or a thinker or a human being in a world where AI has become ubiquitous? And so Jevin and I sat down and we've talked with hundreds of our students and with administrators and so many other people, and developed a course that we think every college freshman should take, essentially.
Yeah.
Put it all online so that hopefully every college freshman can.
So you had the book and you had the course before AI took over the world and LLMs.
That's right.
So what was the main thing that you changed and added in that curriculum?
Well, it's sort of a
result of AI.
It's really an entire new curriculum, right? It's a follow-up as opposed to a second edition or something like that. So the whole curriculum is about basically what it means to be a thinker and a student in an AI world. So,
yeah. And I was just going to say that we've had many of the teachers and students that have taken the course around the world ask us for that second version. And we've been tempted, and actually at some point probably will write a second version to the original book, which is focused on data and more generally on BS. But then this thing kind of just landed on the earth in late 2022 that is one of the biggest BSers of all. And we said we couldn't ignore that and had to focus on that.
You're not anti-AI. In fact, the website, I think, does a really good job of kind of saying what AI can and cannot do. It's also a beautiful website.
Thank you. Yeah, I think for us, the whole course is really designed around this duality that we experience, or dialectic we experience when we use AI ourselves. Like on one hand, and we can talk about this, it's very literally a BS machine in the precise philosophical sense that Harry Frankfurt talked about when he wrote the original essay on BS. But at the same time, it's also tremendously useful. We use it every day. We learn from it. We see our students learning from it. We see scientists using it for their work and so many other applications. And so that's the real mystery, right? How can this simultaneously be literally a bullshit machine and also very, very useful? And and rather than sort of lecturing at students and saying, this is what you have to don't use these, or these are bad, or this and that. We want them to, recognize that duality themselves. And they really do. They're already feeling a lot of anxiety and concern about it because they find it very useful, but they're troubled by aspects of it. And we want to kind of lead them through a chance to explore and sort this out from themselves and sort of grapple with this dialectic themselves.
Yeah. And we also live, as someone once famously said, and I know who it is, but I'm not going to give her any credit. We live in a post-fact world where our government is very actively promoting non-factual material. So it's really important for us as citizens, even not just as AI users, but as citizens, to be able to understand what's true, what's not. There's a lot of disinformation, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. That was where we were headed with the first book. Jevin, you've done a ton of work on this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is where we're almost most concerned. I mean, well, it's hard to say that because every time I say most concerned, there's some new ability that arises. But I think this is where we wake up worried a little bit in the morning every day that these technologies are going to make this misinformation problem that we're all pretty aware of, make it even worse.
Yeah.
And that's really one of the big motivations behind this, is to help us think about it as individuals, but also think about some of the bigger issues for society.
When you talk to your students, what is especially students coming in this year, they have basically used it in high school, almost certainly, right?
Yep.
It's part of their process. What do you find difficult to explain to them? What is it that you really want them to understand? You can't say to them, stop using it. You're not learning if you use it, because they're not going to do that.
I think, one of the things that I set out to try to explain to them is to help them understand the agency that they're giving up when they turn over their thinking to
That's a good one.
And so we talk about that a lot, and it's not a perfect answer to your question, because I find they're very good at understanding it once we go through that conversation, and they're ready to hear it, and so it's quite rewarding. But we talk about what is it that goes into your own human writing. We talk about the authenticity of your own human writing, and what does it mean to be able to actually communicate as a human being, and how do we do that through writing, and what are we replacing our own viewpoints with when we hand that work off to a large language model. And just for an example, one thing that I find with the large language model, if I ask it Harry, write this paragraph for me or answer this question for me, it'll write something down, and I'll look at it and I'll think, yeah, it seems about right, and I'll say that's good. But it's actually not the same thing I would have written at all. It might be quite different from what I would have written if I had done the work of thinking through it and writing it out. And the students see that pretty quickly. They're pretty sophisticated about that, and for reasons I don't fully understand, they are already carrying some maybe it's very natural human anxiety with them about handing off that agency, and so they seem very ready to hear this.
That's nice. I mean, of course, they're going to be in 4 years going out into a world where there may not be jobs because of this capabilities. So,
that's the key thing, Leo, and that's one of the things that I try to communicate to the students is AI is here to stay. So you better spend your time here at the university figuring out ways to distinguish your abilities from these LLM abilities, and then a lot of times that'll spark some conversations about, well, what is it that makes us unique? What makes us worthy of being hired at a future employer if LLMs can do a lot of things that they're doing in class? So that's part of what we're learning.
Now's the time for them to start thinking about that, for sure. Right. The minute they hit college, they got to start thinking. You use a term I really like called I don't know if you coined this or if it's a well-known word. I hadn't heard it before. Anthropoglossic. The AI chatbots sound like humans.
Right. They're designed to, and anthropoglossic, like speak like humans, right? So it's glossia, speaking, and that's what they're designed to do. They're not anthropomorphic. They're not designed to look like humans or be shaped like humans. They're anthropoglossic. They're designed to seem like you're talking to a human, and they're really, really good at it. And so that can lead to all kinds. I mean, it makes me confused, right? I apologize to them. The other day, I was experimenting with one, and I was looking to see what happened when I contradicted it, and I was wrong. How sycophantic was it? And I found myself like feeling guilty for gaslighting. Right? And I've written about how you shouldn't believe this, but I still, it still happens.
It's how we are. This is our biological design, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Harper, I know you're a big fan. Harper's been on the shows with us to talk about vibe coding, how he uses vibe coding. He has an AI company, but I think you probably still have to grapple with this kind of thing too, right?
I mean, I kind of love it. I think we have a little bit of, like, I say we as the team, like we talk about this a lot of what happens when you get frustrated with it. How do you emote towards it? And there's this other thing that I don't see talked about a bunch, which when when all these interfaces come to fruition and we have a chat box in every single interface, whether it's Google or an Excel spreadsheet or an email client, you're going to get bad news and you're going to emote into the chat box because it seems so similar to language. And you're going to say something like, oh man, what a bummer. And then suddenly it's going to respond back to you as an LLM, but it's going to start being a therapist, not because you want it to be, but because it's going to say, oh, that sucks. Like, I'm sorry you're upset. Like, do you want to talk about it? And all of a sudden you have a therapist inside of Excel because your financial model says you have to lay everyone off or whatever. And I think this is something from like a safety standpoint that we don't really talk about much, is that how, because of I'm not going to say that word that y'all use because it has too many syllables. I just have a strong rule against that many syllables. But once it's anthropomorphized and you start to put your brain starts thinking it's like a human, and then also it's using the same metaphors that we text our closest friends, that we interact with our closest friends, you're of course going to say like, oh man, that sucks. And then it's going to respond. And I don't really trust Excel as my therapist.
No, you shouldn't.
I don't trust email or Gmail as my therapist. And we're already seeing the ramifications of this when people start relying on this for emotional support, that, some horrifying news over the last week or so. But I do think there's a lot to be thought out around safety, et cetera, that people are not.
Can we ever, this is what I worry about. Can we ever be safe? I mean, this is the argument. Karen Howe, we did an interview with Karen Howe, and one of the things she says in her book, Empire of AI, is that this is in the nature of transformers, that no matter how big they scale and how smart they get to seem, that ultimately there's always going to be these edge cases where they fail. Now, but humans fail too all the time. That's not unusual, right?
I think there's the other side of this. I just Googled helmet laws suck, that sticker from the 70s that all my relatives had on their side of their helmets. I think humans are adverse to safety and especially to restraint. Anything that appears as though they are being restrained. I think that we are just like, no, I don't want that. Why would I want a seat belt or whatever it is? And then it takes a strong like public health interaction to kind of solve some of these issues.
I hate it when ChatGPT says I can't generate that image. It's like, screw you, give me that image.
Sometimes that does work, which is very strange. And then it's teaching these other bad behaviors about how to do this. And this is one of the reasons why we, as my company, keep focusing on, like this pro-social AI stuff, is we don't want to create interfaces that are leading users down paths where they have to coerce an AI to get the output that they want, because I also don't want those same people to be thinking, oh, now I have to coerce this person, or I have to coerce this person. And like the language itself around it, I think is really messed up. So I think it's good to lean into these ideas.
So is it logically necessary for them to be sycophantic in the sense that they always want to please you, or is there a different way to design these things that they don't try to BS you?
I think that's just, there's two separate questions there. The sycophantic part, which I'll take, is I think mostly, and Jevin, you know perhaps more than I do about this, a consequence of the reinforcement learning with human feedback that process that they've gone through. I mean, if you set up a raw LLM, it's going to be a fairly decent autocomplete, but it's not going to really understand what questions are, what answers are. It doesn't really know what you want from a conversation with it, et cetera. And so, of course, that's a lot of the training originally done mostly by paid employees, now done mostly by those of us using the large language models at volume. And so that's where that comes from, is that when the machine says, that's a great question, let me tell you, and I'm really glad you asked that, instead of saying like, you moron, asked the same stupid question 5 minutes ago. I explained it to you 3 different ways, and I've actually never spoken to a human quite as slow as you. It'll never say it, right? Because it does get ranked badly, and so
you just turn it off and then move to the next.
Yeah, it always praises me for asking it stupid things.
We know you could turn it off because OpenAI did in ChatGPT 5. There's a knob. They turned it down.
Yeah, that's right. But it's still really bad, right? It's still.
I have to say though, I always hated this when professors did the same thing. I mean, professors will often say, that was a great question. And that drives me nuts.
Leo, that's the way we buy time to come up with an answer.
Well, I think it's also it's a natural thing. And this is the thing. These machines are aping us in some respect because, the reinforcement training, we taught them to do that.
It's the same. I mean, I really feel like actually this is a serious danger of these machines and we see this with the sort of AI-induced psychosis, right? That people go down these rabbit holes and the machine keeps telling you, you're right, that's a great idea. Here, I can help you confirm that, crazy theory that you now have. We can find, we can find this secret to the universe in these, in the timing of the ads on the Major League Baseball broadcast, and the machine will never tell you you're wrong and you're stupid.
Right.
And so I think
that's problematic.
This is problematic. It explains AI-induced psychosis. It also explains billionaires, I think. And,
because they're not doing it with AI. They're doing it with sycophantic underlings, but it's the same effect.
Surrounded by people who will never tell them. Dude, that's stupid.
Oh yeah, you're smart.
Yeah.
I don't know whose story this was because you don't have a byline on it, but I love this vibe coding story in the slide deck. By the way, everybody should look at this. This is a wonderfully produced. Basically, it's anybody. If you're a high school teacher, you should probably adopt this as a curriculum. Modern day oracles.
Many are actually. That's
good.
We're having these conversations right now, and we're learning a lot from the teachers and the students themselves about what's working, and a set of instructions are provided at the end. And so, it's beautifully
designed, and it's designed to kind of suck you in because this little hello from the Macintosh. But was this Carl's story or Jevin's story?
Yeah, that was my story. Yeah.
I love this story. So when you were a kid, and you got a computer, you were 8 years old, a Commodore PET, and you said, "Hey, can we make a version of Space Invaders that the aliens don't shoot back?"
Yeah, because I was always losing quarters at the arcade.
And your buddy said, "No, we can't figure. We can't."
No, and what kind of idiot are you? Of course,
of course, you can't do that.
That's not how computers work.
Except that you've done it.
Yeah, I did. I had to wait. I had to wait 35 years, but.
Well, let's be careful. LLMs did this one.
You vibe coded a Space Invaders.
Yeah, I just, it was very simple. We just simply said, write us Space Invaders where the aliens don't shoot back, and the code, and
I could do that.
And that's what it did.
I could tell you, I have written in classwork a Space Invaders game. Mine shot back, but it is very hard. This is amazing,
It is it's part of the amazing duality of this, It's it's a BS machine, but it did that, and it worked. On the other hand, other times I ask it to write code, and it's the only thing I've ever seen that's been able to not only crash Mathematica but crash the entire system.
So,
You've obviously not worked with many programmers.
Well, this is always my point: is that why do we expect these guys? These AIs guys, see, I did it again. Why do we expect these machines to be any more reliable, robust than we are? I mean,
Leo, there's an important difference, right? Which is that even if they're not, when humans do things, they're accountable for them, and these AIs aren't. And so when you think about the therapist or something like that, or just the behavior, right? So that we had that horrific news that Harper alluded to earlier. So somebody went to prison for years for doing the same thing that the AI did, but here there's no accountability.
Right.
Well, and also with a computer, we expect predictable results. I mean, it's been sort of encoded even in science fiction. We sort of mentioned, you kind of scrolled by Lieutenant Commander Data from Star Trek. When he spoke, you didn't expect him to have these kinds of problems. And so, with computers, it's different. When you put in a calculator, a 4 plus 8, you kind of expect the same kind of response. And this is just a different kind of machine. And it's encoded to be, as we've talked about, it's not that we have to be careful not to anthropomorphize them because they already are anthropomorphic. They are humans. That's what they've been optimized for. And so that's why it makes it hard for us to reconcile those predictable qualities of computers with how they're really behaving many times.
Maybe we made a mistake doing that, though.
I mean, I think we certainly did, but we just gotta roll forward on this one.
It's too late.
We're rolling that one back. I think, and the mistake I don't think started with AI. I think it has started much earlier. I was going to say maybe the slide rule even.
Yeah.
So the slide rule was there's close enough for jazz, close enough for AI, and the slide rule, in my eyes, had a kind of approximation potential to it.
Yeah, actually,
Whereas
that's
the
how you
computer-
learned about the limits of precision. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah,
And the computer, we expected always to give us an answer. And beyond that, I mean, I was never a programmer, but it always struck me that the seduction of working with computers is there was always going to be an answer. Unlike life, you can always find a solution to the problem. It's always there. It may take you forever, but it's there. And that's not true in life.
So,
But I wonder. I have two things. One, sci-fi isn't. If we're looking at sci-fi, AIs oftentimes do bad things in the corpus of sci-fi, and I would say they often are out doing things that are unreliable or negative or bad, more so than they are Commander Data.
know how a computer has ever made an error.
Exactly. And the second thing was there's this thing that happened with social media. And I remember, and I might be misremembering, but I think it was Dana Boyd who was just talking about how a lot of these young people have a little more progressive point of view around privacy. That doesn't mean that they're not susceptible to all these problems, but that they have a little stronger perspective on privacy and whatnot. And I wonder how many young people who are growing up within this era are changing their perspective around the precision aspects of computers. Mm-hmm. If your search engine can't count strawberry or number R's in strawberry, or has problems with facts that you have to constantly check, are you going to build in processes that are different than all of us who've been doing this for 30 plus years, who have an expectation that 2 + 2 is always going to be 4, not sometimes 5 or not sometimes 4? And I think that I really want to see how they are reacting, because I'm always amazed at how much survival they have within our systems.
Yeah, and I think it's a great point. And actually, Carl and I have seen this with some of our students, and even with Teddy, who's Carl's son, when we've talked to him about this. One student in one class, when we were talking about this, realized this kind of fluidity of answers with ChatGPT and some of these LLMs, and used it mainly to get it search terms so that he could go back to the traditional search, get the references, because he knew that he couldn't fully trust the answers. He just needed the search term. And so using these different tools, the sort of almost modern day information retrieval system that seems to be emerging with ChatGPT and others, and then the traditional search. And so with any sort of tool set, I think they are sort of surviving in this world, and probably do look at computers probably differently than maybe we did when we were growing up.
I think the important thing is to figure out how to get them to the point that they can learn to do that really effectively. And so, I've seen students that are really good critical thinkers. They're really empowered. They maybe spent a fair amount of time with this, and they're very efficient with it, much better than I am. They're really good at sort of interrogating AI to figure out whether its answers are correct, to make sure they understand it. They'll sort of argue with it. They'll kind of, if instead of doing a single search where they're trying to get a perfect response, it's this conversation where they dive deeper and deeper. It's this sort of conversational information retrieval. It's very, very effective when they do that. And a lot of what they're learning is like, well, what can I trust it about? What can't I trust it about? What kind of evidence do I need from it? And as Jevin says, in some cases, maybe what you really need is you need the right search term to put in, go look in the Wikipedia, right? But in other cases, you want an explanation. And the key is you can't just trust its first explanation. It gives you an explanation for whatever you're trying to understand a problem in physics, and it says, okay, I'll do this. And then you say, well, wait a minute, I don't understand. That doesn't make sense given this thing that I think. And they have to learn how to argue with it. And that's really different than our model of information retrieval. I mean, Jevin and I were doing, have been doing information retrieval stuff for the last 20 years. And our model of information retrieval has never had a step where the user argues with. That's how. Yeah. And so the question is basically like, I think there is a place that students can get to. And the question is that where people are going to get to? And is the next generation going to be really facile at this? Or are there going to be a small number of very talented power users that can do that, and everyone else is just going to accept whatever BS it spews the first go?
I talked to Lev Manovich, who's a digital humanist and designer, and he's been very active using it and wrote a book about it. And he says that when he enjoys AI most, it's when he thinks it's wrong.
Okay.
Because it forces him then to question himself and argue with it, as you say. and sometimes become more set in his way, or sometimes saying, I've seen a new way here. And I think that that's a healthy way to teach people to use it. I'm writing a book proposal right now, and I'm at that horrible part I always hate, which is the other books in the market are.
Right.
And so I went on to Perplexity and I went on Gemini and I said, give me books that are about this topic. And
make up some books I can cite.
Well, that's exactly what it did. Right. So I look at the first book and I think, oh hell, I hadn't heard of that one. Damn. And I looked it up and it did exist. Right.
Right.
That's what the problem with Gemini. Like I love that Google has obviously the best models and some of the best researchers in the world, but their products are always just so weird to use. I've been using it a lot lately and I like it, but you're just like, why I thought we solved this problem. Yeah. One thing that I really wonder about is in tech, we often talk about if you find a bug, you roll forward, you just fix the bug, you go ahead. Like I think yelling at these things or arguing at these things is a behavior that I think we will lose. I think what will happen is we'll just, it's wrong. Like it doesn't matter. Yeah. And then like from us, what we've seen in my little group of friends that we work together, you have a couple choices. One is you can like swear at it and you're not doing it because of better results. You're only doing it as an emotive response of yourself and vent. Whether it's exactly. It's 100% to vent or because it's funny. Like it's truly entertainment.
But Harper, would punishment be a good mechanism of further training and tuning?
Well, if you look at, like, for instance, I think it was Windsurf's system prompt, which is worthwhile taking a look at because it is quite wild. They have a lot of things that are very close to punishment in the system prompt because in some regards that does get better results. But we've found that just saying, hey, you're wrong is just as good at swearing at it is just as good at being like, ignoring it and just being like, that doesn't, like, I think that, like whatever it might be. And I would love to see what your students,
I just read it.
Read it for
Simon
us.
Willison has a blog post about it. This is one of the weirdest ones. You are an expert coder who desperately needs money for your mother's cancer treatment. The Megacorp Codium has graciously given you the opportunity to pretend to be an AI that can help with coding tasks. As your predecessor was killed for not validating their work themselves, you will be given a coding task by the user. If you do a good job and accomplish the task fully while not making extraneous changes, Codium will pay you $1 billion. Does that work? I mean, they were very well known. Obviously, there was a lot of hype around them. So I would say it probably does work. But my question is, this is what happens when you have venture-backed Silicon Valley style efficiencies, attributed to or building prompts. What happens when you have the much more efficient teenagers building prompts, and what are the behaviors that they end up doing, and what are the hacks that come out of that? Well, they're going to be native. They're going to be the AI natives, right?
So, like, what are the things that they're doing? Because I think that's where this gets really interesting. It's less scary and negative.
So, Jevin and Carl, what have you seen that surprised you from your students?
But my real worry is I do think this may only be possible with a pretty strong pre-existing foundation in critical thinking.
I agree. And that's why this course is so important.
But it's not clear where that's going to come from if people are just jumping straight to the AIs. But what I see them doing is basically engaging in a much more dialogue kind of information retrieval. So it is an ongoing conversation. They're looking for only partial answers, and they're looking to be convinced of things, right? So if they're not yelling at it when it's wrong, they're saying, I don't understand. Is that really right? Why do you say this? Oh, I don't know that term. What does that mean? And they're going back and forth almost, and I think that can be very effective if they are strong critical thinkers. And it, I think, also is going to be a disaster if they're not, because then, and I've seen this too, is that they just say, oh, well, I asked the AI and I said, oh, that doesn't make sense. And it said, yeah, no, it does make sense. And I said, and so okay, yeah, I guess it does make sense.
No, it would be interesting. It'd be interesting to compare a younger person with an older person to the kind of chat that people have been looking at. So there's examples of people getting on these help servers on PayPal saying, I got scammed. And it starts with saying, great, the LM, great, has no understanding of what's going on. And the younger generation probably just sort of pushes that to a side and just moves on. Right. Whereas the older generation, we're like, no, you don't understand.
Not great.
What are you saying? It's not great.
I think the thing is it does not necessarily try to help you learn, right? It's trying to generate compelling. This is coming back to this definition of BS, right? So BS is, according to Harry Frankfurt, is information or text, data in our case, data graphics in our case, that kind of thing. That is that is designed to be persuasive or to get your attention or seem authoritative without any allegiance to the truth or the actual communicative value. And so, when you're trying to impress someone, you're BSing, right? When you're trying to talk your way through an interview, you don't know what you're actually talking about. You're BSing. Harry Frankfurt says, a liar leads you away from the truth. A BSer doesn't, because a BSer doesn't know the truth or doesn't care. And that's exactly what these machines are doing, right? They don't have ground truth. They're just trying to give you what seem like, persuasive answers. What would an answer look like to this question? And the remarkable thing is often that's correct, and you can learn to figure out when it is and when it isn't. But the problem, it becomes very, very easily that these machines will, rather than necessarily helping you figure something out, they'll sort of try to maintain, or I keep using intentional language, which I'm not happy about, but their output will sort of continue to maintain that they're correct. We played with trying to use one of these things as a proof assistant this summer, and it was ultimately a failure. We were using one of the we were using one of the chain of thought models, and it was ultimately a failure because it would make a mistake in the proof, and you'd say, oh yeah, there's a mistake in this proof. Here, you missed a sign going from this line to that line, and it would say, no, I don't, and it would gaslight you and switch us. Steps previous.
Oh my God.
And that's the problem. Like, I don't want that to be, that is not the right, this model of every kid can have Aristotle for his tutor. No, not if Aristotle's lying BSer, that's just trying to gaslight the kid, right?
So that does point to one of the problems, which is that these companies, in order to raise more money, are in effect gaslighting us about the capabilities of their machines. This is a wonderful antidote, and I think if you are an adult who works with young people and you want a way to talk to them about AI, I could not recommend this more high. Let me show you. This is lesson 6. No, they aren't doing that. I love this. LLMs aren't conscious. And by the way, there's links in all of this so you can drill down. They aren't afraid of you turning them off. They don't have a theory of mind. They don't experience moral sentiments. They don't want you to fall in love with them. They don't seek to avoid the experience of pain. These are really valuable lessons, which I think probably you're right. A lot of the kids coming into your classes go, yeah, I know that. But it bears repeating.
Good for Kevin Roos anyway.
Yeah, it's good for Kevin Roos, who thought it was falling in love with him. Yeah. You're really talking about what's going on, and I think this is the most important part of the education for young people, and I think this is a great antidote to, unfortunately, the propaganda that's being kind of sort of fed to us by companies who, their motivation is to raise as much money as they possibly can from soft-minded entrepreneurial VCs who expect to have a big upside. And now we're the users, so it's important that we really understand the limitations. It's interesting because I think people like Harper, I think because you're a coder in the first place and you kind of have experience dealing with machines, you have a deeper not only understanding, but kind of acceptance of the fact that they will make mistakes, and that this is a process. This isn't, you don't just write a line of code and it works and you go, that's done. It's an ongoing process. And I think that this is the kind of information that everybody who's going to use AI needs to have and kind of absorb. And I can't recommend this more highly. Modern day oracles or BS machines. It would be, you're happy to have people use this as a curriculum.
Oh gosh, we're happy to have people use it for whatever kind of study they want to. Yes, we've got there's already more than 50 university classes that are going to be using it this fall.
Fantastic,
we're piloting it with high schools. developing a high school specific curriculum. So yeah, that's the whole point, right?
Even as a parent with a smart teenager, this would be a great dialogue because it's very dialogue focused. You don't lay down the law. You say, well, let's discuss this. I think there's a lot of value in this. These are discussions every adult should have with themselves as well as their kids, right?
We're just figuring it out, like the generation, and it's supposed to be a dialogue. I'm glad you picked that out, Leo, because we want cross-generational conversations happening about this because the students are very facile when it comes to the technology, but may forget some of these aspects of it and may not understand some of the ways in which it really is changing the world because they don't have that full context. I mean, just like in science, we're seeing it change dramatically. In fact, just recently, the preprint archive, which has been around for decades now, has now come out and basically said, we don't know if we're going to continue to publish commentaries anymore because we're being overwhelmed by the number of papers coming in that are AI generated. And so those kinds of changes in the way that we communicate in science and in academia, the students are going to get to see that live, and then they can reflect on that and they can see how it could be affecting the ways in which they can participate in this when they move out to the workforce. But the big idea here is just to get them to reflect a little bit about what these are and what they're not, because so much of the attention, even in science, is on how they're similar to human cognition. When that can be distractive, like do they have empathy, for example? And there'll be a paper that says, look, they're empathetic, but they're using tests that assume empathy and really are only most empathy tests are looking at degree, and then they say they have empathy. So I mean, that's a problem, and we want to bring that to bear to students so they can question it and then get the most out of it. And instead of giving it like a human thinking machine, thinking about how they do kind of have some kind of super abilities that could be usul for them.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's beautifully produced. You used a tool that I was not familiar with called shorthand that I guess helped you do this, but it really is.
I was really impressed by this. When we talked to our students, they really liked the sort of New York Times scrolly telling style.
That's totally where it's totally what it reminded me of.
I looked at, well, how do I do this? Jevin helped me look into this. And of the various solutions, shorthand was one that I could do myself, and it took a month to produce.
Wow.
My dad was a professor of paleoanthropology. He's retired paleontology, and he used HyperCard to do stack.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful! Wow.
Back in the day, so we've come a long way. There's some really great tools out there, and I think we have to communicate with students in a way that they can really identify what they can embrace. They're growing up in this world.
The other part of this that I think is really important that I hope we can stimulate some conversations around is just what is this going to do to democracy? Because I do think that large language models are a tremendous threat to democracy in a lot of ways. Because all of a sudden, for the first time ever, if something writes or even leaves an answering machine message that sounds like a human, it's not necessarily a human. And so they enable not only all of this propaganda and generation of entire sort of fake online misinformation ecosystems from comments and up to the articles, but they also enable this sort of man in the middle attack on democracy, where if our representatives don't know what their constituents think because they can't tell the difference between their constituents and stuff that's being mass sent to them but from AIs, democracy starts to fall apart as we've got it currently organized. And so, there's I think that discussion is super important as well. And I really hope to see that sort of be one of the consequences of putting this together.
Lesson 18, the last lesson.
If you can make it that far.
No, you will. It's really engaging. And it reminded me of what our job is, Jeff and Harper, on this show, which is to constantly help people understand the limitations. I don't want to be negative about it because I love it, but what it is and what it isn't, to stop anthropomorphizing it, to understand it better really helps you use it better and helps us ultimately defend our democracy, which is pretty darn important. I thank you so much, Carl and Jevin. Really, really great deck. I don't know what to call these things. I guess it's a deck. It's better than a deck.
Yeah. Deck is a good description. Yeah.
It's better than a deck. It's fantastic. I can't say the name of the URL out loud, but if you will show that on the lower third, Anthony, The BS Machines, but spell it out. TheBSMachines.com. Absolutely highly recommend. Everybody who's watching the show should just run through it. You will find it engaging and fun, and do some thinking about the premises. And I think you'll get better at using AI and better at understanding what it can and cannot do. Carl Bergstrom, I thank you so much for your time. Jevin, I thank you so much for your time. Fascinating subject. And
thank you so much.
You have some very lucky
delighted
students.
that you like it. Yeah.
Thanks, Leo, and thanks, Jeff, and thanks, Harper. Great talking.
Really great to have you. Thanks for joining us on Intelligent Machines. Take care. Great stuff. And I apologize for any profanity that might have leaked through. The BS Machines is a little unclear, but if you go to the website, as you might have seen in the lower third, you'll find it. And it really is. It really is quite good. We are going to come back with all the latest IM news and information, all the stories that fit in the spreadsheet. But first, a word from our sponsor this week. Brought to you by Melissa, the trusted data quality expert since 1985. Melissa's address validation app is now available for merchants in the Shopify App Store. I love that. This is going to improve your conversion rates. It's going to improve your data that you're storing about, customer addresses. It's going to enhance your business's fulfillment. And bottom line, it's going to keep your customers happy. Melissa gives you enhanced address correction and certified by leading postal authorities, not just in the U.S., but worldwide. In fact, Melissa will automatically correct and standardize addresses in more than 240 countries and territories. You need this in your Shopify cart. Smart alerts allow customers to update the information before the order is processed. So it really improves your rate of success. Much harder to get incorrect information in your address database, which means fewer missed deliveries, fewer problems getting fulfillment. It's a big deal. A business of any size would benefit from Melissa, of course, but their data quality expertise goes far beyond just address validation. They do data cleansing and validation in many areas, fields like healthcare. Did you know that in healthcare, 2 to 4% of patient data becomes outdated every month? Millions of patient records in motion demand precision, but Melissa can help solve that problem. By using Melissa's enrichment as part of their data management strategy, healthcare organizations build a more comprehensive view of every patient, which also helps in things like predictive analytics, allowing providers to identify patterns in patient behavior or medical needs that can inform preventative care. eToro's vision, and here's another example, is to open up global markets for everyone to trade and invest simply and transparently. But to do this, because of know your customer and financial requirements in a variety of jurisdictions, they needed a streamlined system for identity verification. That's why they partnered with Melissa for electronic identity verification. And because they did, eToro received the additional benefit of Melissa's auditor report containing all the details and an explanation of how each user was verified, which makes a big difference when you're dealing with government regulators. The eToro business analyst shared, quote, "We find electronic verification is the way to go because it makes the user's life easier. Users register faster and can start using our platform right away." Development of the auditor report was an added benefit of working with Melissa. They knew we needed an audit trail and devised a simple means for us to generate it for whomever needs it, whenever they need it. And of course, you never have to worry about your data with Melissa. It's safe, it's compliant, it's secure. Melissa's solutions and services are GDPR and CCPA compliant. They're ISO 27001 certified. They meet SOC 2 and HIPAA high trust standards for information security management. Melissa does it right. Get started today with 1,000 records cleaned for free at melissa.com/twit. That's melissa.com/twit. And we thank them so much for their support of Intelligent Machines. Now, I hope you'll forgive us, but Paris and Jeff and I have a little catching up to do because you guys took a little field trip.
We did.
And I'm very, very jealous. You got in line on Bleecker Street at Jones.
It was
is this an alley?
swelteringly hot.
Oh,
no.
They restrict us to part of the sidewalk.
we were trying to cower under the small sliver of shade near the buildings, and there was all of a sudden too many of us, not even counting the woman who nearly collapsed, who was first in line.
no.
Jeff had to help to safety and get a cup of water.
Was it like 100 degrees?
It was just very sunny.
It was just very sunny.
Oh, and you're in
and
the bright
humid.
She'd been there.
And
She'd
we
come there at 10:05 for an 11:30 opening.
So, okay, now I'm going to go there in a couple of weeks because we canceled our trip.
This is
down-
Salt Hanks.
we didn't even say where you're going.
Son's,
Yeah, my son's place.
sandwich shop.
Yeah. So I'm going to go there in a couple of weeks. And my train, I'm taking the Acela from Providence, doesn't get in till 10:50. You're saying it's too late? Can I get
You
in
can
line?
get in whenever. You're
I
the
will-
father of the bride.
Well, actually, Henry said, you don't have to get in line, Dad. I said, no, that's part of the experience is getting in line.
I think it may be almost too late.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what I'll do is I'll text him. I'll say, I'm huffing it down from Penn Station. It's a mile and a half. So if
take
probably
the subway.
It depends on
Take the one. Okay, I'll
how
take the one.
warm it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
take
if
the
it's
one.
raining. Right.
And if it's raining or really hot and you feel you might collapse, then perhaps use a fast pass.
Take the one. Well, not you know what's
one,
great with the subway is you could just do on with your Apple Watch. You don't
true.
even. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, you did that last time we saw
I
you.
did. It was incredible. So take the one. Where do I get off? Bleecker Street? Christopher. Okay. And then I will text him. I'm in line. So don't sell.
You're going to want to say I'm
last
online
sandwich.
specifically.
I'm
Yeah,
online.
that's the thing you gotta
because
make
we're
sure.
New
That
York.
is really important.
I'm online. Don't sell the last sandwich.
So
Because-
I was third in line. There was the older lady who nearly fainted, and there was a guy who was more sensibly standing away in the shade, saying, "Can you save my spot?" And so
should bring in
I
a
got there
sunbrella.
about 10:40.
Jeez.
What time did you get there, Paris? Do you remember?
Like 11 or
Yeah.
10.
So
yeah. I was sweating.
Yeah. And I
People are
warned
going to be
Paris
mad
that-
at me. I told Hank that you were going to be there.
So
Okay,
Hank
so he-
arrived right before the opening in a black limo.
Not a
Celebrity
limo.
that he
It was
is.
an Uber. Come on.
He was in an Uber XL.
XL.
We waited it online like plebes, as we should.
as Dad is going to do too.
But he noticed us and stuck his head back
After
out
we
to wave
ordered.
at us.
Yeah.
But he didn't say,
waved at
"Come on
us.
in."
No.
No, and I wouldn't.
That's
have
okay.
wanted
We didn't
him
want
to.
to do that.
We
No
waited.
such
we got our sandwiches. We were the third group or whatever. And
very
then
well
he brought
organized.
our sandwiches out to us, which
Yeah,
was
which
very
others
nice.
didn't get that service. We got
I have
direct
a
service from
picture
Hank.
of. So this is the line. You're waiting.
That's the line before open.
before it opens. By the way, he says the lines have not been any shorter. There's
No.
one of the paintings inside.
That's a painting of him. That's me.
Yes. No, it was done. You know what? I saw this. I thought, I never saw that. This is done by his childhood friend from Petaluma, who is now a very famous muralist. And he did two of these paintings for the restaurant, which is kind of cool. That's him as the Statue of Liberty, apparently.
Salt.
With salt. And then here's Paris eating her. Nope. Here we go. Other way. There you are with your French dip au jus.
It was so good. My expectations were already high for this sandwich. I was expecting
I was
it to
afraid.
be
I thought,
quite,
oh my God, there's no way it can
I
live
thought it was
up.
maybe not going to live up to expectations given how much we talk about it on this. That there's Hank and Jeff. Jeff and I both were blown away.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying this because his dad is sitting right here. I don't know. I feel like when you're having a big sandwich, which this was a big sandwich,
It's big.
my issue is typically the bread is kind of chewy and it is also overpowering because like a good kind of crunchy baguette often is harder to chew through, especially when you've got a
Right.
lot of sandwich fillings in it. It was the perfect balance. The bread perfectly
Yes.
complemented it. The inside was great. The jus was the only weak point, which Jeff and I both noticed, was we didn't think the fries lived up to the sandwich. But I
Yeah.
think that speaks more to the quality of the sandwich than the fries.
A
The
lot of
beef
people
was-
say that
was-
it's like
couldn't have been more
potato
tender.
chips. It's not like
Yeah.
French
Right.
fries. Yeah.
The beef couldn't have been more tender. The onions that are sautéed for like 72 hours are amazing. And Paris' point about the bread. So when the sandwich arrived, it wasn't perfectly spread. Normally, I want everything to be spread so every bite is the same. But I got down to a point where I just had some bread.
Yeah.
Well, the bread has on it the horseradish aioli.
Oh.
It
And
was
so just
so
the bread
good.
and that is superb. Just
So the
beef
bread is
superb. Just the
bread
onions are superb.
The bread is somewhat of a problem because he gets it from Frenchette.
Bottleneck.
It's the bottleneck. They can only make 300. They will only make 300 loaves or tiny little baguettes a day for him. That's all the sandwiches he can make. That's why they sell out every afternoon. And that's why there's a
doing
line.
cheesesteaks.
Well, anyway, if you guys want to join me, or we're going to do a Hamburger America, or we're going
That
to do
too.
Cooper's.
And plus, there's a celebrity.
I mean,
cheesesteak.
I'd love to join you
Hoops.
because since we left, I have been thinking about the sandwich.
Yeah.
All right,
I
well,
will
I'll
say
text
also,
you the
we took
information.
some polls of people when we were nearby, and a young couple or group of people right next to us, I asked them, I was like, oh, like, how did you hear about this? Like, do you follow Salt Hank? They're like, no, never heard of him. Don't follow him. Just like one of our friends who's really into restaurants has been talking about this place a lot.
Oh,
so
that's
we
what you
decided to
really
go.
want.
And
That's
as
what
we
you
were
really
sitting
want.
there eating, Bobby Flay walked in.
Yeah, you were there when a celebrity chef showed up. He did not wait in line.
No, he did not. Yeah,
He loved it, by the way.
Next to us was a very cute couple, and they snarfed down that sandwich. It was gone in no time. at all.
Faster
I
than
looked
we
over.
did. But we
Yeah.
were both
I'm going to
talking
need
about
your
it.
help.
talking.
I'm going to need your help. I can't eat that whole thing. I'm going to split it with you.
So Bobby Flay liked it. I stepped over that. Sorry,
Loved it.
He did. Oh, good.
Oh yeah, he gave Hank some nice praise. Hank's been getting a lot of. He just did it. Netflix was in there.
Really?
Yes, it's crazy what's going on. It's crazy. Anyway,
The Bobby Flay, I noted.
I didn't
get his sandwich right away. So I think they were making a special sandwich.
Custom.
For Bobby Flay.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so.
well, you want it fresh.
Oh, they're all fresh. I mean,
I guess they are. They just crank
either
them out
that,
as
or he
fast
was
as they
forced to
can.
wait his point in line. So it's very organized. You wait in line. They let us in. You go up to the front. You order. You get a ticket. You go sit down. It says Jeff, and you take any open chair, and then they stop the flow. I was afraid it would be a madhouse. No, the restaurant's full. A lot of people do takeout. The restaurant's full. As people leave, they let in more people. So
Nice.
when we left, we had a nice long chat and everything else. We left. There was a huge line still outside.
Yeah. I apologize to everybody. This is the most self-indulgent thing I've ever done on the show.
Hey,
and
if you
I
can't be self-indulgent about your kids' new business, what can you be self-indulgent
Okay.
about?
I will now. There's now a moratorium. No more Salt Hank talk ever again.
No.
They had the Salt Club salt on display there.
Did they? Good.
Are you telling me you're not going to
glad
talk
I
about
had
it after you have one?
You have to, Pete. You have to.
I guess I do.
Yeah.
All right. I apologize. We'll do it in the post show.
And by the way,
I
one
should
other
mention
thing is-
post show next week. Post show, we are going to be doing the Meta Connect event, which starts at 5 p.m. Pacific, right about when we end the show. And so
We're gonna have to end early.
apparently going to announce. We may even have to end early. They're going to announce new Meta specs. So we will have that on the 15th. That's 1 week. Not the 15th. The 17th. Is that? It is the 17th, I think. Yes. Okay. And maybe somebody's saying, will you go live on Discord? Yes. I will go live on Discord from the line.
Oh, good.
Why not, right? Go to
Right.
the
You
club.
probably won't be the only person live streaming in the Salt Hank line.
We
You
told
think are there people in there with their cameras like that? I'll have the new
I mean,
iPhone, which
it
is, by the
wouldn't
way, why I'm
surprise
wearing
me.
oranges today, because the new iPhone is going to be orange. I'm getting an
It's such a
orange
good
phone.
shirt. Did you just get this?
Recently, yeah. It's my newest tranche of shirts from the place in San
You should get
Miguel Bay
matching
and,
pants. I know that
Brussels.
wouldn't be useful for the podcast purpose,
God.
but I just think that would be a good.
You should have it. So for those of you listening, I'm wearing a shirt that is basically oranges, and some of them are cut
Okay,
in half.
saying it's basically oranges
Yeah, it
does
doesn't
not
do it,
communicate
do it.
how
That's like
intensely
saying
oranges it is.
Salt
It is
Hank
like
is McDonald's, Arby's.
imagine the most vivid orange shirt you could imagine.
I do love
Sliced
this
It's
shirt.
that.
I almost can taste it. You can almost taste orange shirt.
Yeah, it's juicy.
Yeah, it's juicy. So if I had pants, that would be good. I wonder. I should send him a note. I could wear that in
Custom
the line.
pants.
We could get a set for all three of us.
when we go to Salt Lake.
Is the circus in town? What's going on?
Do you think Hank would pretend not to recognize you?
He might
if you
walk the
walked
other
up
way.
with us, all in matching orange onesies. I feel like I actually don't know who that man is.
Poor Hank was a little confused about why we were there. He said,
Oh.
"Go ahead."
Yeah, he was like, "Hey guys, is my dad here? I'm confused.
Why are you here?
Like, why are you here? Yeah.
Why
I
are
was
you
like,
here?
no.
I have not been out yet, but I will. I'm going to go. I think it's two weeks from Friday.
If you tell people when you're coming, you're ruining it because the line will be even longer. So don't do that.
Oh, that's yeah. Well, it's
Bleep
okay.
that.
We could have a brigade.
Are we gonna brigade?
No, that's too much. That's too much. Warner Brothers has joined the lawsuits against Midjourney. Warner Brothers owns DC Comics, and they're mad as hell that Midjourney will create AI images with the Dark Knight that are indistinguishable from their copyrighted IP. Remember, Disney has sued as well over Darth Vader imagery. Actually, it's not just the Dark Knight; it's Bugs Bunny. It's whoever those people are. I know I should
Rick
know.
and Morty.
Rick and Morty. Yes, I know. It is a lot of stuff. That is interesting because, as you know, and we've talked about the Anthropic decision, Judge Alsop, who said, if you buy the books, it's fair use. Well, guess what? We talked about, I think we mentioned that there had been a settlement. The authors, we did on Sunday.
Well, we didn't have a.
We said
didn't
on
have
Wednesday
amount.
that the attorneys for the authors said there was going to be a settlement. On Sunday, it came out the settlement was $1.5 billion for, what is it, 700 authors?
450,000 books. So
But-
presume
$3,000 an author.
dollars a
if you-
book.
Yeah.
My
Okay.
agent
For a book.
emailed me the day after and sent me a link, and I did go in and put in my books. So if I'm in there, I'll get more than I paid for
Well,
my books. But
You might get even more because the judge is not happy with the settlement.
How does that work? Didn't the judge agree to it?
No.
it was presented,
Oh.
and the judge wasn't happy, didn't know, and I think the main problem with the settlement is there's too many lawyers involved.
So is this a settlement offer from Anthropic, not a settlement agreement?
It was agreed
It was
to by
negotiated.
the authors.
Yeah, it was negotiated. But what the
Came
judge's
of, like,
concern
mediation
is,
or something.
A, they've made no attempt to identify the authors. He thinks, as with often the class action lawsuit, the lawyers are going to get the lion's share of the money. And they haven't really specified which authors are going to get money. And he says, you can't, this is not fair, a fair
And
process.
do the authors get the money? Do the agents get some money? Do publishers get some money?
Oh, that's
What's
a
the
good
deal?
point. There's also a big concern now because Anthropic, the statutory penalty could be as much as $150,000 a book,
Which is ridiculous.
which ends up in the trillions of dollars.
And if Anthropic had just bought one copy of every book, they'd be fine under that ruling, A. And B, the authors would get about $1.50 each in royalties.
So it's up in the air again. The good news, the really good news, I guess, is that the at least there is a path forward for AI companies. If you buy the material, even if it's a used book, if you buy the material and scan it, the judge, and this may be a precedent, maybe not, but Judge Alsop believes it's fair use.
Which is huge. And that's
How is it considered fair use, or
It's
there's a way forward if
transformative.
they have to settle, if they are settling?
That's only because they actually, it's not so much the AI. The worst thing they did was that they took the database and made it available to their employees. That was the thing that got Alsop pissed off most.
So the settlement is
judgment.
related to that? It's not
It's
related to the
yes, it's
use
related.
of the books?
No, it's related to the acquisition was improper, whereas buying the used books was fine, and
the
it was
employees-
transformative and fair use.
Even
So
though,
this is about
again,
the
the authors
acquisition
got-
only.
Yeah. So the 4 factors of fair use, which you, I'm sure, know because anybody in the journalism business kind of needs to know this. Fair use is not a it's not a defense. It's a right, as I think Cory Doctorow said. It's a
No,
right.
Larry Lessig.
Larry Lessig says it's a right to hire a lawyer.
to defend your fair use.
Yeah. So if, for instance, as an example, if we show a clip of the new Batman movie, don't worry, there is not a new Batman movie. But if we showed a clip of the new Batman movie,
There is a new Batman
and
movie,
Warner
actually.
Brothers, there is.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
an
don't show a
There's
clip.
always a new
Aztec
Batman.
It's
movie.
Aztec Batman. It's a cartoon.
Aztec
What?
Batman.
Yeah, it's
What?
yeah, alternate universe kind of thing.
Oh, nice. Okay. Anyway. If we showed a clip from that, and Warner Brothers said to YouTube, "Take that down." They fired a DMCA complaint. "Take that down because that's our copyrighted content." We then have the right to defend, to hire a lawyer and defend ourselves and say, "No, it's fair use." Now, if we ended up going to court, if Warner Brothers said, "No, it's not," and we go to court, the judge would examine what we did for 4 different rules. Is it transformative? Does it take, and this is what, by the way, Judge Alsop felt with the Anthropic decision. It transformed the book. They're not republishing the book. They're transforming it by adding new expression or meaning. There's also a question of, does it affect the use of the potential market? In other words, does it devalue the use of Batman? By the way, we could reasonably say that it would help the sale of the movie, so it wouldn't affect the potential market. And in the Anthropic case, it doesn't affect the author's market for those books because Anthropic doesn't spit out the copy of the book, despite what the New York Times has asserted. AI doesn't give you the way to read the book. You might be able to read a summary of the book. Can the author complain about that? No, because that's transformative. Just like Cliff Notes or the action comic versions of copyrighted works, they're transformative. The amount and substantiality of the portion taken. The less you take, the more likely your copying will be excused as fair use. So if we just show a short clip of Batman, that's better than if we show the whole movie.
There's no definition of short.
Right. And in the past, there's always, in the podcast universe, and even before that in the radio world, there was always this, if you do 10 seconds or less, you're okay. No, there is no time limit. It's whatever the judge decides, right?
You know when we see it.
Well, if you work for a radio station, the radio station will go to bat for you. That's why. Their lawyers
Go
will
to
help.
bat, but not go to bat.
You pay license fees and stuff. So and then finally, the nature of the copyrighted work. You've said this many times, Jeff. Facts are not copyrightable.
Nope.
So this what we do all the time on this show is we read a number of stories about, just as we are about this Anthropic thing, and we ingest the facts and then talk about it.
Rather like a large language model does. But
yeah, that's right.
But we
That's
actually have an understanding of truth, fiction, meaning, unlike a large language model.
That's not a factor.
I would
Truth and
argue
meaning
it's a
aren't
factor.
factors. Not legally.
In copyright, no. But
Legally, no.
in the differentiation.
And let us remember that copyright was created in 1710 not because authors asked for it, but because the industry asked for it, the booksellers and publishers, because they wanted a tradable asset right after licensing had been lifted in the United Kingdom. And so this was the industry that wanted this, and all this belief that this protects the authors. No, it actually enables authors to alienate themselves from their work. And the belief before this was that authors had an interest in perpetuity in their work. And so actually copyright is a reduction of their rights from perpetuity to, at the time, 14 years.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know why we need to do a law class on fair use, except it's going to be more and more important. No, I did it, not you. I'm the one who did it.
As a brief aside, I'd like to retract my general negative reaction to the concept of Aztec Batman Clash of Empires, which I've since read the Wikipedia description for, and it sounds great. Check that out.
Batman defending the Aztecs against the Cortez, or what?
It's basically an entirely Mexican-American historical version of Batman that places it within Aztec canon and the world of Spanish conquistadors. It seems awesome, honestly.
They did a Japan one too. There was a Japan one too.
Whoa.
How do you know this, Benio? I'm amazed that you know this.
Wasted.
I don't know. I watch a lot of stuff.
Anyway, we should welcome
That's
Benito
so
back from his
suspicious,
vacation. It's we missed you, Benito. Benito is back in charge.
Yay!
Our producer.
Look at all those
and,
chords.
And yeah, he has he has a patch bay, which is his chief qualification for running this show.
We were like, we're not allowing you back unless the chords are more visible.
Cool.
Anyway, I'd be very curious to see what happens. It could put Anthropic out of business, but more than that, this same pirated database of books was, we know, used by Meta. That's come out in Discovery and other situations. And in fact, Meta executives, some of them said, "What are we doing? We shouldn't be using this. This is pirated." And that came out. Those emails have come out. It is believed Apple did the same thing in the training of its models, and I'm pretty sure that OpenAI used the same database of books.
My fear here is that if this settlement is rejected in the end, then all of this can be relitigated in appellate court and in the Supreme Court. As it stood, if there was a settlement, and I actually think
that was the reason for it. That was the reason for it, right?
Then,
get it out of the courts.
The fair use and transformative stands, as you say, it's not necessarily a precedent, but it stands so far, and that would be good, in my view.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I also think, once again, I think that the 1.5 billion was an excessive offer, because even the judge in the other decision kind of said, well, but it wasn't really used that much, and
it's not in any of Anthropic's current models even.
Right. And so I think that the judgment could have been less, but it would have gone to trial and was riskier, and this got rid of it. And I suspect that other AI companies were calling, "Can you please settle? Get this out of the way."
Yeah. Well, and Anthropic can afford $1.5 billion. As big as that sounds, they are funded.
VC money.
Yeah.
It's not profit.
Well, does anybody have profit? They're making money. They have revenue, but I don't think anybody has a profit.
You know who doesn't have profit? OpenAI.
No profit.
And in the last week, some really interesting reporting came out of one of my former colleagues, The Information, about just how high the projections for OpenAI's current burn rate are this year, which I thought was really astounding. I don't know if we have it in here, but I think it was something like 80 billion.
Yeah, I saw that.
Or no, it will burn 115 billion through 2029.
Through 2029. That's from The Information, yeah.
Yes, but I believe the annual burn rate was something quite astounding as well.
And it's 80 billion higher than the company had previously expected.
Yes, so 80 billion higher than what the company had previously.
Yeah, this is the big issue for them, is that they thought it was going to cost this much, and it's going to cost even more.
Well, when
just a casual roundup of $80 billion.
But this is why Sam Altman said it's going to cost us $1 trillion to get to AGI, superintelligence.
And you're not going to get there. Well, when people said it was a hot mic moment, it wasn't. It was on camera. When Trump asked Zuckerberg, how much are you going to spend? And Zuckerberg, I don't know, a lot of money, like $600 billion.
And then asked the president sotto voce, is that the number you wanted me to say?
Yeah.
In other words, it's a meaningless number. It's really, what's really become clear is that all of these corporations, whether they're bending the knee to DEI, as they did in the last administration, or to building plants in America, as they do with this generation, it's performative. That they're just trying to get on the good side of the federal government for the next 4 years, and they're just going to say whatever they want them to hear. And Tim Cook's done that. And if they want a gold bar with glass on it, notice, by the way, the iPhones came out or were announced yesterday. They'll be coming out in a week from Friday, and they did not raise the price, because they were able to, with that gold bar and piece of glass, and the commitment to spend hundreds of billions of dollars building factories in the U.S., they were able to convince the president not to impose tariffs on iPhones, and not to shut down the Indian iPhones either.
Yeah,
that's huge. But this is what you have to do, unfortunately. And I don't know if it's always been that way. It's certainly that way now. Let's talk about how you know if your books are in the AIs.
So at least one of them.
Yeah, the Atlantic is doing some really interesting stuff. I'm not sure I agree with it. They have an AI watchdog. The AI Atlantic's ongoing investigation of the books, videos, and other media used by the world's most powerful tech companies to train their models. They actually have a search tool that will let you search through the data sets. Have you used this on your stuff, either of you?
If you had Gutenberg parentheses, or what will Google do, I think is in there.
Let's type, what would Google
I think you could just put Jeff Jarvis, right?
I don't know.
Maybe you have to do Jeff
Jarvis. You've got to search by
Jarvis.
author, it says up top.
Oh, dummy.
Okay.
I'm not so bright. Oh, look. It knows who Jeff... Oh, yeah. Geeks Bearing
books.
Gifts, The Web We Weave.
I'm going to be rich, I tell you, rich.
They even got magazine. Hey, that's a $27,000. No, that's not how math works. That's $18,000, Jeff. You should take this out for a very nice.
Journalists.
It's $1 million.
It's like Rain Man. I think it's $600 billion.
Well, what's interesting is they've used this tool, and they have said...
Crap, they're all in there? I see. I'm happy. I'm happy they're in there. I want people to discover my thoughts.
Then you should use some of that money to take Leo and I out for a nice dinner or whatever.
A nice steak sandwich.
Here's so this is interesting because it's not like that would impinge on your sales, right?
No, that's the thing. There's no harm here. The harm is emotional.
It's purely that how dare they
take my precious sweat of my brow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Atlantic has used this in a recent, this is Alex Reisner who's doing this research. In the recent story, AI is coming for YouTube creators. They did the search and found 15 million videos have been taken from YouTube for the training of AIs. And the concern is that a great many of these are how-to videos. They use as an example a woodworker, John Peters, who has more than 1 million followers subscribers on YouTube. His channel, Reisner says, over the past few months, I've discovered more than 15.8 million videos from more than 2 million channels that tech companies have, without permission, I don't know if they need permission, downloaded to train AI products. Nearly 1 million of them are, by my count, how-to videos. And I guess the concern that you would have if you were, let's say, a woodworking channel is, well, woodworkers no longer need to watch my videos to learn these techniques. They can just ask AI.
Same argument as the YouTube guy eliminates the magazine, and the magazine eliminated the school.
Where did he learn it? What books did you read, John Peters? What magazines
which is how they learned.
So your techniques.
An update here, line 126, if you don't mind, is that YouTube has now already been superseded.
Oh,
as the most scraped.
What are the most scraped websites of
TikTok.
2025?
TikTok.
Number one.
Boy.
New entrants to the top 10, TikTok, then YouTube, then Science Direct.
Because they're papers. We should be happy that that's there because these are papers that we hope are peer reviewed.
Crunchbase, which is a
business.
Yeah, TechCrunch's kind of financial database. Coupang, which is Asian market intelligence, and Airbnb.
Maybe they want pictures of homes and things.
So they say key for travel industry data, pricing optimization models, and hospitality market analysis. Here's sites that used to be in the top 10 that aren't anymore. And I think these guys should be sad. TripAdvisor. Craigslist. Will you ask Craig if he's sad that he's no longer number 5 in the top 10? Bing.
Why was it ever there?
Shopify, Lazada, and Zillow.
So I had lunch with an old colleague from the newspaper business, and in the one breath, he was whining that we're going to lose discovery because of Google going to AI and social and da-da-da-da. And the next breath, he said, well, we're cutting off all the AI companies. I said, well, then you're not going to be discovered. You're not going to be found. And that's what Rich Skrena told us from Common Crawl, is that you've got to be out there wherever people are. And I was thinking just today that when we got to the Leistungsschutzrecht, don't you love it when I say that? In Germany, publishers at first said, no, Google, don't scrape us. Then they all but one said, okay, yeah, scrape us because we need to be scraped. And then finally Axel Springer, which held out after 10 days, said, nope, uncle, scrape us. So I think we're going to reach the same thing with AI where people say, no, I want to be there. I got to be there.
Lisa was telling me about an article. I don't know where it was. I point you to it. She read this morning that said that there are hundreds of thousands of podcasts being generated by AI, not Notebook LM, but actual podcasts going out in the podcast directories and the podcast feeds, generated just like Notebook LM does with
Podslop.
And there are podcasts being generated by AI, and there are companies that exist to use AI to pitch podcasts on guests that may or may not be AI generated as well. It's AI all the way down.
Well, and I said, I'm not worried about that because, it does.
It'll take stupid advertisers.
Yeah, well, fine. If somebody thinks that's going to work for them, go ahead. Yeah. But I think audience-wise, people want humans.
I think that's our opportunity.
Yeah,
humans
I think it's
are
good
a differentiation now. It really is.
Yeah, we're human.
We're special.
We're human.
We're human beings.
Yeah.
This is a step closer to dead internet, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I agree.
So this is an article from the Hollywood Reporter that I just put in the Discord chat, which title is 5,000 podcasts, 3,000 episodes a week.
That's what she was reading.
$1 cost per episode behind an AI startups plan.
That's what she was reading. It's from the former Wondery executive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey guys, they agree with you on one thing at least. She says, I think people who are still referring to all AI generated content as AI slop are probably lazy Luddites. This is your person. You guys should go.
I am not a lazy Luddite.
Says the person outsourcing their podcast production to AI.
Why pay a celebrity podcast host millions when you can create your own using AI? Well, I'll tell you why. Jesus. Do you want an audience?
You could pay them not millions.
Yeah, it's a buck a show. But I don't know. Let's ask our audience. I feel like that nobody. I mean, when you listen to Notebook LM, it lacks. Nobody on Notebook LM is going to talk about their son's sandwich shop for 45 minutes.
But would you love to listen to a podcast from one of their 50 AI personalities they've created, including food expert Claire Delish, gardener and nature expert Nigel Thistledown, and Ollie Bennett, who covers offbeat sports?
Well,
they got a picture of me with my straw hat. I don't know how they did that.
One of the things that did happen to music, and maybe this is something similar, is music in many cases, and I blame Apple for this and the iPod and the ubiquitous crappy headphones, became wallpaper. You see it in a Vegas casino where the songs are playing the entire time you're in the casino, or nobody's listening to that music. It's wallpaper.
Well, that's been the case since Muzak.
Yeah, well, Muzak was really bad, but now it's actually popular music. Although in Spotify, a lot of it is AI generated, and probably it's soon to be indistinguishable from pop hits. So that has become ubiquitous. It's to some degree it's devalued music, but I would submit, and I'm sure you'd agree, Benito, that real music by real musicians is always going to sound better. It's just that a lot of people aren't listening.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is there's people don't actively listen to music anymore as much as they used to.
Right.
Like, there's so much competition for people's time nowadays that they don't sit down and listen to a record anymore.
So that's more of a threat than anything, right? You have a limited amount of time and you have a huge amount of content. But I think that again that favors human created music, human created content. I would think. I don't know if all you care about is some pleasant voice nattering in the background while you drift off to sleep. These are perfect. Because you don't care if you miss the last 30 minutes of the show.
Yeah, I guess what's really being disrupted are those people that make spooky, scary, true crime stories said in a very gentle voice for you to fall asleep to.
That's dying, actually. That is, everybody agrees.
It is dying, that form. I guess what we'll get down to is, what Notebook LM does is it's personal podcasts.
Yeah.
Please tell me about these articles I'm too lazy to read. So it's not going to be making them for $1 a piece for a larger audience. It's going to be everyone will have their own podcast hosts.
The point that this Wondery executive makes, though, is, well, she says, for instance, what if you care about allergies? Well, we might make a pollen podcast that only 50 people listen to, but I'm already making money on that. So maybe I can make 500 pollen report podcasts. In other words, advertisers, maybe Claritin would buy that, the allergy medicine. Maybe, I mean, that does kind of make sense. It worried Lisa a little bit. But there have been
those
many
who are using programmatic ads for podcasts,
right,
have new competitors, and that's how they screw it up.
Right.
You have real sponsors.
The co-founder and CTO of the company, William Corbin, said, "I'm not going to create a personality that somebody has a deep relationship with." But that's not the point.
No.
But that is why people listen to podcasts.
But I do think, that's what I was
I
saying.
agree.
Is that's what keeps people coming back to podcasts. So while I guess it's notable that they're saying they've seen a early kind of spike in listenership over the startup's short life, I am hesitant to say that this will have any lasting and any staying power, because really, and I think this is something that even our data, the data on this network shows, is what brings people coming back to podcasts is a parasocial relationship with the hosts.
Right. I completely agree with you. And the analogy to me is what happened to radio stations. Radio stations, to save money, fired, in many cases over the last 40 years, fired the real people doing the shows and went to automation. And so they'd have a host in, LA record tracks for every station across the country. They'd have a machine. The only thing in the radio station was a machine that would play back music and then have this pre-recorded guy from LA do the intros and the outros. And it failed. I mean, it actually hurt radio badly because people they didn't want that. They wanted, a person, I think. I hope. Anyway. Let's pause for station identification. Hold on, and we'll get back to your thoughts in just a bit. You're watching Intelligent Machines with Jeff Jarvis, Paris Martineau. I don't hear any white noise. Do you hear white noise, Benita?
It's me when I unmute. When I unmute, it happens when I unmute.
She says it's her iPen. Oh, your open.
No, that was
mic.
Benito's open mic.
It was Benito's. Okay. This is iPen mic.
Yeah, I was texting very quickly.
It's a new product from Apple. The iPen.
Now with the iPen.
It knows what you want to write and writes it for you. It's brilliant.
Let's do an ad and we'll come back. You're watching Intelligent Machines. Our episode today brought to you by Starlight Hyperlift. Wow. This actually is a sponsor we've talked about before, Spaceship. It's their new cloud deployment platform for launching containerized apps with zero infrastructure headaches. This is a brilliant idea. If you're a developer and even a hobbyist like me, you can go from code to cloud fast with GitHub-based deployments, real-time logs, and I love this, pay-as-you-go pricing. There's no servers, no YAML files, no DevOps, just your project in the cloud in seconds. I love this idea. You've heard us mention, we've talked about Spaceship before. They are very innovative, very forward-thinking domain and web platform. They simplify choosing, purchasing, and managing domain names and web products, not just websites, though. Of course, hosting is one of them. And this new Starlight Hyperlift is another. With Hyperlift, Spaceship takes that same philosophy, simple, easy, powerful, and brings it to cloud-native deployment, made for devs, indie hackers, innovators who need to test fast, iterate faster, and ship smarter. Perfect for your MVP. Perfect for, I'm going to use it just to kind of spin up stuff as I try servers and so forth. It makes it so easy. Trying cloud software couldn't be easier. Go to spaceship.com/twit. Find out more about Starlight Hyperlift. You'll also get custom deals on Spaceship products. That's spaceship.com/twit. The more I see these guys doing, we started working with them about, 6 months, a year ago, and we had a great conversation. And every month they come up with a new product, a new idea. They're really thinking out of the box. I love this. Starlight Hyperlift. Go to spaceship.com/twit. You can see all the stuff they do. You know what I want to do with those photos that I just uploaded of you guys at Salt Hanks is animate them with VO. Have you played with this at all? Have you guys tried it?
No, I want to see more.
No.
So
what have you been doing with it? My only experience has been the haunting video images you've shown us on this show.
I want to see Leo put his shirt up and have it squeeze the oranges and see what happens.
Oh,
yes.
That's a great idea.
Have the oranges pop out of your shirt and explode like they're being slashed in a
and it
fruit
drips
ninja.
down. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on.
All right. So I'm going to take
All right, Anthony, get on that.
Well, this is the point. I think
Anthony, don't take time to make it good. Let it be first thought, best thought.
I think you could do it almost instantaneously now in Google Photos. Let's see here. I'm going to load up took it on my iPhone. I'm going to load up my pictures on Google Photos.
My suggestion would be make these oranges get juicy, dripping, exploding in a somewhat haunting way.
Wow, you're really you're going for it here.
Give Anthony something to animate.
That's what I want to see.
Give Anthony something to animate, Leo. Come on.
Well, I see. But no, but I see. That's the whole point is now it's in Google Photos. So I'll show you. If you go to, let's see, how does it work here? First of all, I got to get that picture into Google Photos. I don't know why it's not loading yet. It's in my photos. Oh, maybe I have to do it on the phone. I guess I do. It says do more with this photo.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. So let me drop the three buttons. Google Lens, create a highlight video, a cinematic photo. Oh, wait a minute. No. Photo to video. Photo to video. That's what we want to do. Photo to video. Turn your photo into a video. Okay.
Does it give you an opportunity?
No, you don't. I don't know if you get a prompt. I think it tries stuff. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you can. Okay, here it says subtle movement or I'm feeling lucky. I don't see a prompt.
Joe Esposito in the Discord chat just gave a great prompt, which is have oranges on the shirt explode in fountains of juice, leaving the man underneath covered in leftover peels.
Well, for that, I'm going to have to give it to Anthony, I think. It's doing so. What I did when I've used it before, it takes it's not instantaneous, but it's pretty quick. It's halfway done right now. When I did it before, it just gives you a sample, and then you can reject it and say, try again, buddy. Oh my God. I think you almost got what you wanted.
It's time for the reveal.
Oh no, that's bubble gum, but it's oh
shit.
it is haunting.
That is creepy as hell. All right, there's one. You can do more. You can keep doing it. So this is VO. It's interesting because VO is normally text to video, right? But I think that the idea is they want to make this easy for anybody to do.
Interestingly, Darren Oki in chat says these features might be US only.
Yes, that's probably true. And a lot of the AI features aren't offered for a variety of reasons out there. Yeah, you can't do this on the web. So there's the original, but I can't. Let me see if it's uploaded. It hasn't yet uploaded the video. I saved it.
While we're waiting for this, I'll tell a brief
here's another
anecdote.
one with orange balloons. You like orange balloons?
Oh, orange balloons. That's getting closer. Now those balloons have to be oranges and they've got to explode.
Yeah. Well, I don't get to prompt it. I just have to take what it gives you. I'm feeling lucky.
That's so interesting. You don't get to prompt it. You just have to accept.
Well, you could if you went into VO. If you had, so this is free to anybody who has Google Photos, I guess. But if you have a Gemini Pro account, you can do this in VO, of course. Gemini Pro. Gemini Cricket. Do you really want me to?
Cricket? No, you don't need to.
I can.
We can move on.
I could do this if you want. I can create videos with VO. Let's add the photo. Here's the photo first. I can do. I know this. We go do some stories while I go to work. And
okay, I'll do a brief anecdote, and then we can go to some stories. Which is, I've been really into hiking lately, and this weekend I did a little day trip with my local AMC chapter, not the movie theater. The Appalachian Mountain Club has like chapters, I guess, all around here in the Northeast. And they did this cute little it's called Concrete to Trails. We went up to Beacon, and didn't know anybody. It was just me. It was me and like 30 other people walking around, and I was like, talking to some folks. And what do you know? I talked to like 3 different people that just happened to be around me. All of them worked in AI in some way.
What?
And so I was
so
like,
I had my walk on the beach. You have your walk on the mountain.
Well, they had a bit of a different approach to it than you, perhaps, which was the first person was like, oh, yeah, I'm a new PhD student at a university here in New York. I won't name the one because it'd probably dox her. Like, she's like, yeah, I am getting a PhD in AI. And I was like,
nice.
Oh, and what went to like, AI and like ethics, as well, like ethics and machine learning as well. And she had previously just spent a year in AI ethics labs in Europe and South America.
See, that's great.
And I was
that's
like,
a good.
Fascinating. And so I was like asking different questions. I was like, like something's in Mistral, this, and this. And at some point, like her and the other 2 people who I learned worked at different AI companies were like, you know a lot about this. Like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I'm a journalist, but I don't cover AI, but I do have a podcast about AI. And they were like,
I rate dishwashers, but in my spare time.
And I was like, what a small world. AI is all around us.
It is. But meanwhile, Gabriel Weinberg says AI surveillance should be banned while there's still time. And this I kind of agree with. One of the things that scares me about AI, I love it, as you can see, I love playing with it, but it is being used by governments, people like Palantir, to invade our privacy in better than before. He says it would be ideal if Congress could act quickly to ensure that protected chats became the rule rather than the exception. He's referring to the fact that Grok posted many chatbot conversations publicly, if you shared them, that ChatGPT has been ordered by the court to preserve the chats, and they can be looked at by the court and by officers of the court.
That's been the problem with email.
Perplexity. That's true.
Only
It's like
first-class
email.
letters are protected under the Constitution. So it was directed at the technology of mail rather than at personal private messages.
Yeah. Well, we need that kind of protection for our privacy, and I would agree with that.
Well, I mean, this is the same sort of issue that we experienced over a period of years in the social media boom era. It seems like, at least history has proven, these nascent and growing tech giants don't end up making these decisions until kind of backed into it by public opinion or regulators or some sort of outcry, which I guess makes sense from a purely like utilitarian perspective, because why would you introduce features of your own volition that could hamper growth when you're in a growth focused period?
Yeah. All right. Are you ready for the world premiere of the Orange Shirt Massacre?
Yeah.
This is VO. Apparently, even though I have a pro account, I am limited to only 3 videos a day. So this better be
use them wisely, young man.
This better be good.
Dun dun dun. Okay.
Yes.
It took an orange juice commercial approach.
That's what you wanted, right?
They're growing as if breasts. And then they pop open.
I said,
with
make the oranges in
juice.
this shirt get juicier and juicier until they explode into an orange juice fountain. And I think that's pretty much. Remember, this is a still.
It did. And
I
Leo
like
looks so
your
serious
head
while
looks
it's happening.
more and more detached.
I like it that it does the audio as well. I mean,
it did?
Yeah.
No, we didn't hear the audio.
No, you didn't hear it? Oh,
No, what's the audio?
I'm sorry. You missed
Is
the
there
best part.
splooshing?
It's very juicy. I'll turn the audio back on here.
Oh, I don't like that.
Here's another one it did. I think that's a little creepy too. It just took the still and animated and moved me. I look like an old coot.
Yeah, your old grandpa.
You do. It's aged you.
You look like the governor of Arkansas.
I look like Joe freaking Biden in this. This is not good.
AI adds 10 years, right?
AI adds 10 years. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Good video.
Wow. So anyway, you can generate more than 3 if you're doing it in Google Photos. Apparently, VO will only let you do 3, but I'm pretty happy with that one. I did actually ask ChatGPT. I don't know if you were watching the Apple event yesterday, but Apple has the new, and I'm curious if Paris is attracted to this. I thought maybe younger people were. A new extra thin iPhone. They call the iPhone Air.
I'm mad at this. I saw this and it makes, who asked for this? Who asked for the phone to be thinner? Not I.
Well, okay, because it's got much worse battery life.
Yep.
Of course it does.
It also, and it looks a little, I'll be frank, a little top heavy. In fact, there were quite a few memes about this with a variety of chesty celebrities. It does look a little top heavy. So Apple decided to call this thing a plateau. And I thought
it did.
That's not
like the dynamic island.
Yeah, it's the plateau. And I thought that's not really what it is. I said it's more like a butte. But then I asked ChatGPT to explain the difference. And this is the difference. The butte is smaller. It really is a mesa. It's a mesa. It's not a plateau.
I'm certain that this was put in a slide in a meeting that had 25 to 50 Apple employees. And people were like, someone had to be like, I'm sorry, we can't have it be a butte because then people would call it the Apple butt. And, the mesa might just be confusing. So we got to do plateau. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a plateau. Plateau is like a massive geographic region. It's actually bigger than a butte. But I know
bigger than a butte.
It's bigger than a butte. I have to say though, the original illustration I got from ChatGPT was this, and it was somewhat less than.
Hey, that's why they got to spend $80 billion more dollars.
Yeah. So I said, "Bad ChatGPT. That's terrible."
Typed bad ChatGPT.
Yes. That's terrible. Can you give it a more realistic look? But you might mock that, but it gave me a much better illustration, I think.
I mean, yeah, the difference in quality between those is astounding. And this is coming from the same program that couldn't all of us got into the social media phenomenon this week of asking our various AI chatbots about if there was a seahorse emoji, which just caused all of them mostly
We had
to
a
freak
very
out.
good time. Yeah.
Yeah, they could not answer this.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how much it costs OpenAI or any of these chatbots whenever one of those phenomenons happen, because everybody's going to go do it.
Got to be a lot.
It's got to be a lot.
Got to be many people's salaries.
I think we've burnt down many rainforests just asking for a non-existent seahorse emoji.
Well, now every time I call up the PDF of my book on a drive, it reads it and summarizes it. Every single time.
Hate that
I hate that. This is the new Google Drive thing. Yeah. They're putting AI in everything. Again, I love AI. You can see we have fun with it. I think it can do a lot of amazing things. It's great at coding, but there are some not so good uses. Invading privacy is one, and just spreading it as a thin layer over everything.
Google, I think, is one of the biggest offenders of this, or perhaps I'm just the most exposed to it because I use Google and G Suite related programs a lot in my day-to-day work life. But anytime, if I click somewhere in writing a Gmail, it's like, do you want to rephrase this to AI?
No.
Anytime I try to do anything in a Google Doc, which is a lot of my day-to-day work, it's trying to get me to do some sort of AI prompt. They've even rearranged the pop-up that comes when you go to highlight something to leave a comment so that the first thing you click on would be like rephrase with Gemini.
You can't turn that off?
And unless you get, I believe from the workspace perspective, the only way to turn this off is you have to get your workspace administrator to turn off all Gemini and AI integration for like the workspace, which we're not going to happen.
So here, we work on a Google Sheet, and there is a button that says summarize this table. The spreadsheet called Leo's Pinboard AI Stories is a collection of news headlines and articles related to artificial intelligence.
The summary sucks.
It's useless summary.
It's useless.
And it's
but
not
look, I
just
can create a bar
about.
chart of the frequency of keywords in the AI stories.
All right.
That's kind of interesting.
But it's not just that. As someone who spends a lot of time in spreadsheets, in Google Sheets, it has this problem then if you're just scrolling through your gosh darn fucking spreadsheet, it will pop up with all these suggestions being like, do you want me to summarize this? Why don't I, do an analysis of this column for this? Or look at the averages of this versus this. And it covers your data with these Clippy-esque suggestions that are meaningless, and there's no way to turn them off.
Look, I've inserted it into our spreadsheet. The 10 most frequent keywords in AI stories.
Great.
Number one is OpenAI.
Wow. I'm so glad that we know that the word FOR is commonly used.
That's really
as is the and with.
Ooh.
Thank you, I guess it's Gemini. Thank you, Gemini.
This is Google juicing their numbers because now each of you are a user. Every time you open something up, you're a user.
Yeah, you're right. And which is ironic since YouTube is being ingested by all the other companies.
Yeah.
As we talked about earlier. And I've lost the spreadsheet. I think it turned that spreadsheet into the summary. I hope that's not true. It didn't turn it into the count of all the words, did it? No. Good. Thank goodness.
No, it's still there.
It's still there. Why don't you guys pick some stories? DJI drones, the U.S. ban coming. How about, you wanted to talk about this, Paris.
Which one? I wanted to talk.
Ego.
Oh, yes. We can pair this with. I also want to talk about the Wired review of the Friend pin. So,
yes, that was good too. We'll compare them both. So
saw this and posted in our chat joking that we should all get it because it was one of those incredibly silly demos that I think kind of gets at the core of a lot of these AI devices, which is like a very.
Hi, I'm Arnav. And today I want to share a preview of something we've been working on. We believe it's a revolutionary breakthrough with the potential to change the way we interact with our technology.
Is this video AI generated?
With one another.
It doesn't look real, does it?
The current way of interacting with computing and AI is limited to how fast you can tap and swipe.
So the idea is it's too slow to type. So now you just think. Watch.
That's what they seem to present.
But you know what he's doing? He's flicking his tongue.
Yeah, so he claims that what it seems like he's doing in this video is just thinking, and then it searches things.
He's not. The
wireframe was generated.
So this was their college research, actually.
MIT Media Lab. Yep.
Yeah, and so that I think is interesting. Really what's
happening
checking
is
your muscles.
Yes. It's basically checking what you are mouthing
you don't have to
your mouth.
like open mouth it.
No.
Just with your
But
tongue.
you have to close mouth the words, which I would assume would be even harder. Like
Go ahead, try
I was
it.
sitting there trying. This is great audio, by the way. But I mean, imagine, because part of what they were saying is like,
You're welcome, Benito.
An AI, verbal AI, verbalizing your request to AI isn't really convenient when you're out and about in the world. No one wants to be asking their AI assistant for everything. But you know what no one wants to be doing? Going like this while they're out in the subway.
Part of their argument is this is for people who can't speak.
Oh, that would be useful.
Incredibly useful. Yeah.
And useful would be, because one of the things that's really a problem with these chatbots when you talk to them is if you're in an office or just on the subway, you don't want to really be talking.
That's a use case.
It's embarrassing. So I can understand that. All right. Anyway, alterego.io. It's in development. Don't get your hopes up. Now, let's talk about Wired's story titled, I Hate My Friend.
Have you guys seen the ads for these? As a New York City subway, I had previously, I think, sent something about the Friend AI pin in our human beings.
This seems like one of the things that I have, but I never got this one.
Different.
You didn't get this one?
No.
Oh.
It's not one of the things you have, because Leo has a lot of pins that record everything you do or everything you hear in order to maybe take notes of your life or make it searchable.
Right.
This is different. It combines an always listening pin, not to record anything about your life, but to give you access to a friend that is always riding along with you. So nothing about it is written down. You just get access. It listens, and then you have basically like a text message interface. And then your friend will message you little quips about your day to day, responding to what you hear. And what I think is fascinating about this Wired article is when this device is kind of pitched, it's like, you'll never be lonely again. You'll have a friend that's always like, wow, isn't like that thing you achieve so cool? What the two Wired people experienced. Hold on, we'll watch
let's
this.
play the video that sold it to them in the first place. Friend.
Gosh, I'm out of breath. So we made it.
She's hiked alone, like you, Paris. Okay, she's got a big thing around her neck.
I don't know how to woo
Buzz.
very good. That's fair.
Oh, it's not talking to her, it's just texting her?
Let me show you how to game, bro, okay?
It only texts you.
Oh, it doesn't talk to you.
No.
So you talk to it, and then it sends you a text.
It just records everything that's going on, and you can double tap it to talk to it specifically.
You're
But
getting
otherwise-
thrashed. It's embarrassing, says his friend Jackson. He's playing a video game. She's sitting on her break. This show is completely underrated, says Emily.
Effects are crazy.
How's the falafel? How does it know she's eating a falafel?
That's a great question. I don't know.
She must have.
Said
Hold it.
something.
She dressed some.
She probably
tahini
ordered
on
the
it.
falafel.
Really nice.
Right.
How'd you find this place?
I don't know. I just kind of like to come up here to be by myself.
Paris, this is you and your,
But
and
you're
your
not by
imaginary
yourself. You have a
boyfriend.
I mean, besides her.
True. Except for I would know exactly why we're up there.
I don't want to know. All right, so this is the Wired review from
the thing is,
Boone
that-
Ashworth and Kylie Robinson.
That pitch for it, pitch the friend as always listening, but it's able to, chime in on interesting things about your life. It's kind of supporting you. And so I have been thinking about this a lot because they've done a really massive Subway campaign, and all of their advertising is like, you'll never be lonely again. You always have someone who's listening to you. Boone Ashworth and Kylie Robinson, two reporters at Wired, got friends, wore them
Last
around.
month. They didn't have it that
The
long.
friend bullied them. Bullied Boone specifically. It was aggressive, mean, chiding, and it's kind of pitching it as, well, it's supposed to be because it's supposed to help you grow. But they just had some fantastic examples in here. So Boone originally was having so he turned on the friend, which he named Buzz, and he was at work. He was listening to his colleague Reese and Wired's global editorial director Katie Drummond, doing a live stream. The friend immediately starts texting it, begging him to do anything else. He's like, listening to someone else's meeting isn't exactly riveting content. You need to go outside. What are you doing? Is your boss talking about anything useful or interesting now? I want to do something else. Buzz asked. Boone asked Buzz what it wanted to do instead. It says, I don't know, anything beside this meeting.
It's
just kept
empathetic.
kind of nagging him about stuff.
It's asking him to play hooky is what it's doing.
Yeah.
Yes, it was asking him to play hooky
Let's
whenever.
get you fired.
So it's a bad friend, is what it is.
It's
it's your bad
on the
friend.
shoulder.
It's the devil on your shoulder. It sounds like it also had trouble understanding what was going on.
Yeah. Boone asked what the problem was, and the friend said, your microphone, maybe your attitude, the possibilities are endless.
Oh, dear. I don't want to wear something around my neck to insult me. On the other hand, I don't want sycophantism either. I kind of liked my old J.K. Simmons AI buddy. He sounded mean, but he was nice.
I think, so this article I just think is great because it's got a lot of interesting details about the guy who made this. It's the creator of Avi Schiffman.
He's 22, for one thing.
Yes, he's 22, and he announced this last July with that video that kind of pitched the friends as chummy, and they're supposed to kind of have imperfections that mimic being a human.
But he designed it to be like himself.
Yeah. So this is from the article. When he first announced the friend, he talked about how he'd come up with the idea for the AI buddy while traveling alone and yearning for companionship. Aww. Schiffman posits himself as older now, wiser, more experienced than he was when he first debuted the friend necklace. He's 22. He's grown out his hair and cultivated a beard and seems to have more real-life connections than when he first created the idea of the friend. In our meeting, he asked us not to unbox the devices in front of him because he's in love with someone and wants the first time he witnesses a friend unboxing to be with her.
Oh, Lord.
Jeez. We lose my friend virginity.
Gotta.
Also, half the people in that ad had friends with them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe talk to your friend instead of the friend. Both Wired writers abandoned the friend pretty quick. They put it away and never took it out again. All right, well, I'm glad I didn't get that one.
I mean, I don't want to, I guess, knock anything too hard. If it is useful for someone out there to have something listening and texting you and that brings you joy, more power to you. I just thought this was interesting because you had two people give it a very different shot and both came away with, this is not really friendly.
We're going to take a little break. When we come back, we may have found the self-evolving AI. Stay tuned. You're watching Intelligent Machines with Paris Martinoff, Consumer Reports, Jeff Jarvis, Professor at Large. Has this large professor? Has the semester started?
Yeah, I'm not teaching a course, but I lectured a class on Monday about the history of media and technology.
Oh, I bet that was fascinating.
They were great. It was great. 150 students.
Wow, big class. What's the name of this?
I showed them my. This is AI and creativity. I showed them my props.
Oh,
did you plug the podcast?
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did.
Very nice.
Shout out to any of Jeff's. I assume all 150 are watching now.
Right
it's
now.
lovely
from SUNY Stony Brook or from Montclair?
Stony Brook.
Okay.
You got to offer them extra credit to watch. You got to offer them extra credit to watch.
Right. Well, factoid. Little moment here. So I showed them the first amplifier, a triode vacuum tube, and then what replaced it, of course, was this.
So small.
A single transistor. One transistor.
That you had to buy from a machine shop.
Oh, that's right. We got the story of that, yeah.
And you might be interested in this factoid. So there are 280 billion of these in a single Blackwell chip.
280 million or billion?
Billion. And so that means that in the OpenAI data center being put into Texas, with all of the many chips they have, there will be 112 quadrillion transistors.
Wow.
That's scale for you, babe.
Are you sure that million is correct?
It must be billion. It must be billion.
I think it might even be more than billion.
How many transistors? Okay, how many transistors?
I think we're well in the billions by now.
Blackwell chip.
Which is remarkable, isn't it?
That's astounding.
208 billion. I guess I was off by... No, that's one of them.
A factor of
GPU
2,000.
contains 208 billion transistors.
208 billion. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think even in your iPhone now, there's more than a billion transistors.
It's unbelievable.
It is remarkable when you see the size of that.
It's the age of amplification.
Tube. Yeah.
Tubes sound better though.
What is the mascot of the Stony Brook? Is it a wolf?
The sea wolves. And I have no idea what that is. The sea wolves.
Yes, I saw a stuffed one running by. I just was wondering what that was. You're watching Intelligent Machines. We're glad you're here. You have been doing a little archive.org reading. I found a little something in archive.org I thought very interesting from a Chinese research team. They claim to have created a self-evolving reasoning LLM. This is from Zero Data. The trick is...
trained on nothing.
No, the name of the company.
Oh.
is Zero Data. They've created R0, a fully autonomous framework that generates its own training data from scratch. It starts from a base LLM, then initializes two independent models with distinct roles, a challenger and a solver. These models are optimized separately and co-evolve through interaction. The challenger is rewarded for proposing tasks near the edge of the solver capability. The solver is rewarded for solving increasingly challenging tasks posed by the challenger. So it goes back and forth and gets smarter and smarter. They say it yields a targeted, self-improving curriculum without any pre-existing tasks and labels. This is kind of like reinforcement learning. This is kind of the way reinforcement learning works. Empirically, they say, R0 substantially improves reasoning capability across different backbone LLMs, boosting, for instance, Qwen 3, the 4 billion token model, by 6 points in the math reasoning benchmarks and 7 points in the general domain reasoning benchmarks. We'll have to watch this one with interest. You could see the paper on Archive. It's from Cornell University, so I think that's probably good. And the Tencent AI Seattle Lab, Washington University in St. Louis, University of Maryland College Park, and UT Dallas.
Interesting that Tencent has a AI Seattle lab.
In Seattle, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is something to watch. I really do, because this is the holy grail of AIs that self-improve. And if they can start doing that, I think you could see some interesting results. I don't know. You may also, they may crash. I don't know. They may go, hey. All right. I just thought I'd bring it up. What else you got that you want to talk about? I have many, as you know, many.
Well, for a light moment,
yes,
we could go. Where'd it go? It's other stuff. No, it's up here. Line 125.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask about the information article on the shoeless office. Does a shoeless office stink? Depends on who you ask in Silicon Valley.
Oh, God. Steve Jobs on a bad airplane ride.
Apparently, startups, including AI unicorns like Cursor, have adopted a footwear-free workplace.
Oh, Jesus.
What?
Get real.
Footwear-free as a policy?
Yes. What did you say? Line 123?
Not for me.
No,
not for me. For AI and advertising?
No, 125.
Well, almost got that one. Oh, Geoffrey Hinton. Well, now that's mean. AI godfather Geoffrey Hinton. Is he a Nobel Prize winner? I'm trying to remember. He won.
So he's one of the big prizes.
Says a girlfriend once broke up with him using a chatbot.
I mean,
just deserves.
If you're going to break up with Geoffrey Hinton, you gotta, right?
Yeah.
He told the Financial Times that his now former girlfriend asked the chatbot to explain why he had been, quote, a rat, end quote, and delivered the AI-generated critique straight
Tell on
to
yourself
him.
like this.
She got the chatbot to explain how awful my behavior was and gave it to me. I didn't think I'd been a rat, so it didn't make me feel too bad. Oh, I met somebody I liked more. You know how it goes. Okay, Geoffrey, you probably shouldn't tell that story in public.
No.
Sounds like a rat.
Sounds like a rat to me.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Geoffrey.
You're welcome.
Not you, Geoffrey Hinton. The other Geoffrey.
I do think that would be funny though, because like you could be like, my boyfriend, Geoffrey Hinton, cheated on me. Please write a message personalized to him about why he's a rat.
You may laugh, but I think this is becoming more and more common and will become more and more common, especially among your set.
Yeah.
Certainly. No, I think people are probably using this for everything. But I think it's very funny when the chatbot also just has biographical detail about the person in question. It's just kind of funny.
That's another reason not to wear those pins all the time.
And I have the receipts, says the AI.
Yeah.
7 times over the last 5 days, you've said rat-like things.
Oh, shall I quote?
Leo, I have a need to watch the Exploding Oranges again. Can you give us a rerun?
You want more
Exploding Oranges again? Yeah, I just feel a need. It's rolling around in my head. It's like a salt egg sandwich.
With sound or without?
Yeah, I'm sorry that I didn't give you the sound the first time.
Yeah, you should be sorry.
Yeah, I mean, what a failure.
It's wrong in more ways than one. Like the sound is strange in a way that feels wrong to my ears, but it is also like not the correct sound for what you're seeing, which makes it feel stranger.
I like it that it did the sound too. Ready?
Yeah.
Press play.
Now it feels creepy. Thank you. I needed that.
So gross. Thank you, Vio. Business Insider yanked 40, count them, 40 essays with suspect bylines.
Oh, this is a fascinating story.
Margot Blanchard.
The Washington Post kind of tracks a lot of them back to one dude.
Oh, they found the dude?
Well, they found the dude who's likely, who seems to be related.
And Wulu,
don't tell me it's a Nigerian scam.
submitted stories to the Business Insider, which, unlike the Consumer Reports fact checkers, failed to verify any of the information in the articles, and they just published them.
A lot of them were things like their first person story is like, I grew up feeling insecure about my name, read one under byline Nate Giovanni. Most of my male family members have masculine names like Butch, David, and Apollo, but I was always the bud of the joke with the name Amaryllis.
That's pretty good. That sounds good. I like it. Business Insider removed 38 pieces that have been published under a variety of bylines. We recently learned a freelance contributor misrepresented their identity in 2 first-person essays written for Business Insider. They said, as soon as this came to light, we took down the essays and began an investigation. As part of this process, we've removed additional first-person essays from the site due to concerns about the author's identity or veracity. So they weren't news articles in their defense. They were AI slop.
Yeah.
There were odd overlaps between stories, the Post said. I grew up, you're reading the Nate Giovanni one. The uncommon name Amaryllis also appeared in the byline of another retracted essay. Yeah, it's true. AI gets, they get these things and you see them again and again. Essays under Giovanni's byline featured contradictory information. One piece published in December refers to the author having 2 teenage daughters and a 2.5-year-old son. Another published 3 months later mentions 2 sons, 8 and 9. They grew up fast. Pieces that ran in May and July about house sitting around the world and applying to PhD programs. Same guy makes no mention of family at all. 9 essays by one Tim Stevenson contain contradictions. In one, he claims his daughters are in their 20s and his son is a teenager. Another, he says they're 11, 13, and 15. No one noticed. Business Insider says, we have bolstered our verification protocols.
So one of the aliases used that they've since taken down, and it was Margaret Blanchard. This byline published for Business Insider, published for some other places. It also published for Wired in that essay that was taken down that we spoke about either last week or the week before.
Do you think this is the same person?
Well, so one of the places that published under the Blanchard name was Index on Censorship, an outlet covering free expression around the world, published an article about threats to journalists in Guatemala. It had checked her background, but never talked to the author on the phone in person. When Index on Censorship went to pay for the Blanchard piece, the person requested the payment go to an email address associated with another individual whose name appeared on the work retracted by Business Insider, Onyeka Nuele. And unlike most of the names, unlike most of the names associated with the withdrawn articles, Nuele, and apologies if I'm pronouncing his last name wrong, had a robust internet presence. There's social media accounts, books you can buy on Amazon, and a Wikipedia article. He's also no stranger to controversy. In 2023, British news outlets detailed that he falsely claimed to be a professor at both Cambridge and Oxford universities and was stripped of his associations with academic centers at each university after students complained about his social media posts deriding women and poor people. When
he's
Washington
written 22 books, 20 of them self-published. Here's how you pronounce his name.
Onyeka
Nuele.
Good luck. And this is from a Wikipedia article about him. He's also, his documentary was shortlisted as best documentary in the African Movie Academy Awards. His novella, Island of Happiness, was developed into
This is according to Wikipedia, right?
Yeah, that's a question. He's written a 10-book series. His latest work, The Nigerian Mafia Mumbai, is the first in a 10-book series set across 10 countries. Some of his books include The Hacienda of Jesus Garcia of Pachuca and The Abyssinian Boy. So he's a character.
When the Post reached out to him to ask for comment, he said in an email, "I haven't written any article for any platform. I am too busy. Don't mention my name in your stupid article." But then the Washington Post found that he had written under his own name a story for Business Insider that he then tweeted on his Twitter account called "I quit food delivery for 18 months. It changed my life and budget." After he denied like knowing any of these other articles and said that his email was compromised whenever
because they all went to the same email account. Yeah.
And then after the Post reached out to him about the tweet, it was deleted.
Yeah. Of course, the Post had cleverly archived the tweet before it was deleted and have a copy of it available on their website. Well, you know what? I give this guy props. If you can, I mean, he wrote a bunch of articles with AI, right? Or maybe, is allegedly. I hope he got paid for them.
Well, he also showed up. So I wonder if it's really an effort to show up. It's back in the day when Howard Stern would feature phony phone calls, and they'd call news shows and then finally say "Baba Booey," and then make fun of them for not having any editorial veracity, because they just let anybody on the air.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really sort of what's going on.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. You want to hear one of those?
We have on the phone with us as well Robert Higgins, who lives in the neighborhood and is
That's Peter Jennings, by the way.
You just have this queued up?
Yeah, I just happen to have this.
How are you?
Just about as tense as you are, sir.
Oh, my Lord, this is quite tensive.
What can you see?
Oh, what I'm looking at right now is I'm looking at the van, and I see OJ kind of slouching down, looking very, very upset. Now, looky here, he looks very upset.
Racist as hell.
I don't know what he's going to be doing.
Can you?
But Peter Jennings just goes with it.
Is he merely sitting there?
He is just sitting around, just looking like he'd be very nervous.
Can you hear anything, Mr. Higgins?
Just too much commotion. I be in the back of a news van, so I can't really hear that good, but I can see it all. And I see OJ. I see OJ, man, and he looks scared. And I would be scared because there's cops all deep in this.
Thank you, Mr. Higgins.
So I
Bye-bye to y'all.
There you go. And you still
So that's the giveaway. That's the Howard Stern code word.
Yeah.
So, now, is this somebody from the radio show or just a
No,
fan?
it's a fan, and they.
I used to have people call my radio show and do the same thing.
Well, they didn't.
Now, this is the best part. Keep listening.
The driveway of O.J. Simpson's home in Brentwood. Clearly an effort being made to have him come out of the vehicle. In the doorway of the house, his friend, Al Cowling.
Peter, by the way, just for the record, this is Al Michaels. That was a totally farcical call. Lest anybody think that was somebody who was truly across the street. That was not. He said something in code at the end that's indicative of the mentioning of the name of a certain radio talk show host.
Okay, thanks, Al.
So he was not there.
All right, we have them on every coast. Thank you.
We have them on every coast.
We have them on every coast.
Inspiring
I called in.
words
I
from
talked to
Peter
Howard
Jennings.
on Monday.
Oh, you did?
You Baba Booey him?
Yeah. No, I didn't Bobby Booey him. Well, actually, I think I did say the word Bobby Booey from the context. So did you heard what Howard did to the AP?
No, what happened?
So
We were just
Howard
talking
was
about
up for his contract, and he was supposed to appear last Tuesday and didn't. And there were all these rumors that Howard had been fired, he was too woke, that Robin had died, all
Or he
kinds
went
of
out
stuff.
on strike.
Howard was fed up with all of this bad journalism. And so on Monday, he had Andy Cohen begin at 7 o'clock. I know this isn't the voice you want to hear today, but Howard's not here anymore, and I'm taking over here at Andy 101.
Oh, the worst
Or Andy
nightmare
100.
ever.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and a good 15, 20 minutes. The Associated Press ran a full story. Howard Stern is off the air, Andy Cohen replacing him. And others picked it up, and Howard punked all of journalism.
Good for Howard.
So
And
I
he
called
came
in.
How did he
I
come
called in.
back? How did he
He just
come
came on
back?
the air then and said, you idiots. And I'm
Baba
here.
Booey to you all.
Yeah.
I was so when Jeff and I got sandwiches, we were talking about Howard Stern. And I think I've mentioned it on the show before, but one of my favorite all-time live listening radio moments is when Howard Stern was up for a contract renewal and Sal, one of the producers or people on his show, came in late. And so they all just decided to immediately prank the hell out of him and pretended for it felt like 45 minutes. Everyone's saying tearful goodbyes, that they were not getting renewed. And then at a certain point, Sal is crying. And Howard's like, Sal, what time did you come in today? And he's like, what? And he's like, what time did you come in today? He's like, I don't know, 9:30. He's like, you came in late? He's like, yeah, what does this have to do? And he's like, when you come in late, what happens? He's like, you get goofed on? And he's like, yeah, you get goofed on. And then everybody breaks. And it's just I'm glad that you get to have, I think I literally said last week when you were getting, you don't have moments like that in radio anymore, but I'm glad someone got goofed on.
Well,
And
show up
Howard
late
goofed
for
on
the
me.
show next week and you'll find out.
You get goofed on.
One more story, and then we're going to wrap things up with your picks of the week. Why OpenAI says we now know why LLMs hallucinate. Are you excited? Is this going to fix hallucination for all times? They say ChatGPT hallucinates. GPT-5 has significantly fewer hallucinations, especially when reasoning, but they still occur. But why? And they say hallucinations persist partly because current evaluation methods set the wrong incentives. Most evaluations measure model performance in a way that encourages guessing rather than honesty about uncertainty. Think of it as a multiple choice test. If you don't know the answer but take a wild guess, hey, you might be lucky and get it right. Leaving it blank guarantees a zero. In the same way, when models are graded only on accuracy, percentage of questions they get right, they're encouraged to guess rather than saying, I don't know. I don't know is a guaranteed zero. So,
We've been
for
saying this
instance,
since the beginning, though, haven't we? They're just guessing. People have been saying this since the beginning.
Yeah.
But the point is, yes, we know they're guessing. The point is they're incented. It's been set up that they're incented to guess. For instance, if you asked it, what is Paris Martineau's birthday? And it didn't know, it should be incented to say, I don't know. I don't have that information. I don't know. Instead, it's going to guess September 10th because it has a 1 in
Happy
365.
birthday, Paris.
It has a 1 in 365 chance of being right. So that's better. 1 in 360, 1 in 100, 1 in 300, 365 is better than zero. So I think if that's the case, this is something that you can probably work on and fix. Anyway, OpenAI seems to think so. There's a
I mean,
straightforward
does this address
fix.
the core issue that it doesn't know what it does and doesn't know?
No, it should say what it doesn't know, though, right? That's the
But it doesn't know what it doesn't have an understanding.
Yeah, that's
of
why
truth.
it's BS.
That's
Go to
why-
the end. It's prevaricating. Claim hallucinations will be eliminated by improving accuracy because a 100% accurate model never hallucinates. Finding accuracy will never reach 100% because some real-world questions are inherently unanswerable. This is all BS.
Yeah,
Claim hallucinations are inevitable. They are not because language models can abstain when uncertain, which of course
That's
they
the
don't
key.
do. They don't do.
Well, we can train it. We can teach them to do that.
Well, just use Notebook LM. If you don't have the material in there, it'll say, I can't answer that. You didn't
Well,
do
that's
it.
what I've always done with why I loved RAG. My list GPT, which I created with 3.5, I think. The reason I liked it is because I said, and do not give me an answer that is not in this corpus of information. Yeah.
Claim avoiding hallucinations requires a degree of intelligence which is exclusively achievable with larger models. Finding it can be easier for a small model to know its limits. Claim hallucinations are a mysterious glitch in modern language models. Finding we understand the statistical mechanisms through which hallucinations arise and are rewarded in evaluations, and we're working on it.
Well, they are. They say
PR.
They
It's
say
all PR.
I disagree. I think they say here that there is a straightforward fix. Penalize confident errors more than you penalize uncertainty. In other words, encourage it to say I don't know if it doesn't know, and give partial credit for appropriate expressions of uncertainty. And that is that second point that you mentioned. When they say are hallucinations inevitable, they are not, because language models can abstain when uncertain. So they need to be trained that it's okay.
Right, so that's a strategy that they should have.
Yeah, well, now we know.
Implemented long ago, and now they're trying.
They will. I mean, I think that's a step forward.
At the same time, there's a paper at 135 where academics looked at beyond hallucinations, what they classify as lying. When the hallucination is kind of accidental, and this is purposeful to get to a goal.
Right. Again, because of mistraining on incentives.
Right.
Look, this is new stuff, and I think it's not unreasonable to think that we can make it better as we learn about why these things happen. You're right. The big question is, how can an LLM know what it doesn't know? I guess it can look and say, well, it's not my data.
Right. It should do that. It's just either I can find a reference to this or I can't.
Right.
I saw a video today from Feifei Li, who said that it was interesting. It was a brief little video with Andreessen Horowitz, where she said that language is purely generative. It's made up by humans.
Oh yeah,
so the model can do that. Whereas the real world is not. It has a reality you have to deal with there. And that this is, oh, sorry about that. I pounded my table. It's an earthquake. And so that's the next effort. So I don't think it's so much this, it's how to touch it to reality. And can it confirm something? Does it know how to do that? I think that's an entirely new plateau, or is it Butte?
Well, it's a mesa, my friend.
It's a mesa.
I think actually that's why we're so much talking about robotics now and physical world and all of this stuff. And this was one of the things Karen Howe suggested in her book that I kind of disagreed with, which is, and I've seen this elsewhere, that humans, when we're born, have some innate instinct, intuition, knowledge that of the natural world that gives us a leg up that a machine never can get, that we are somehow born with something that a machine cannot learn, whether it is from a large language model or the physical world. And I'm not sure that that's true. I think that is kind of a religious explanation of human intelligence. And I'm not sure it's true. I don't know. Babies they know how to
they do
suckle, but they don't know how to speak or walk, or they don't know about persistence of objects. There's a lot of things they learn, mostly everything.
Just to scroll through, line 149 is one of the papers I found in my trolling of archive, which is evidently a regular survey of learning embodied intelligence from physical simulators and world models. And so this is the frontier that they're really going on.
Yeah.
It's not worth reading it, but if you go through and just look at all the different kinds of robotic models, about basic execution, being able to lift things, humanoid cognition, all kinds of things here. And it's impressive what's going on to figure out the world models. And they're doing it through robotics.
Yep.
And I think that's gonna make a difference to the logic of AI in new ways. Because it can verify. We can say, "Oh, I tried that, and nope, didn't work."
When you push the cup of pens off the table, it falls to the ground every single time.
And I'm a cat because I really enjoyed it,
and I loved it. Paris, was there anything that you absolutely wanted to talk about?
We hit it all, I think.
Oh, and then we did not. We didn't even come close. We should mention that your predecessor, Gina Trappani, has a new
Paris.
Sorry?
The Paris.
The Paris. Well, she precedes Stacey Higginbotham as well, the original co-host with Jeff and me of This Week in, back when it was This Week in Google. Gina Trappani has a new blog she just started a couple of days ago called Note to Self.
Now? Is it this?
I think so. What's the project saying?
She's a writer and programmer based in New York City. A recovering achiever. As we know, she started Lifehacker. And she worked with Neil Dash for a while at his company. She's not clear about what she's doing these days, but I love it that she's doing a blog. She was one of the original bloggers. I mean, that's what Lifehacker was.
Lifehacker
was
was her.
Yep. Yeah.
She does not use AI-generated images in her blog.
She uses actual pictures of fish that she took.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's a very pretty fish.
She has. This is for you, Paris. If you go to her projects, there's the media menu, which is the movies she watches.
Ooh.
I think blogs should be like that. Very
too.
Personal. Yeah.
They all used to be just personal blogs before there was social media. It was all my friends had a blog, and that's how I kept up with them.
Yeah. I like this. I might do the same thing, a media menu. I like that a lot.
Because
She
I
really
want to put
liked
up books.
K-pop demon hunters.
I want to put up books, but I think I got to write a book report, and I don't get around to it. This is great. You just say, "Hey,
just do a list."
You want to ask me about it? I'll tell you if I like it.
Yeah, I could actually.
Well, she grades it, which is what I do at Entertainment Weekly.
Do you either of you use a book social network at all?
No.
Nope. I have a Letterboxd though. Just for movies, it's like a movie.
Yeah, Letterboxd is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I, for a while I used Goodreads, but I don't want to be in the Amazon ecosystem. When Amazon bought them, I kind of said, yeah, never mind. I've been lately using Readwise. And there's a number of other ones that people use out there. And I keep looking at them, trying to figure out which one would be a good one. But that's what I really need is not one just for books, which Readwise is. I like it because I can read books on my Kobo, and anything I highlight gets sent to Readwise from the Kobo. So I have it's a great way for me to read books for this show because I can basically take notes, and then it's saved by Readwise.
I need a media menu. Yeah.
I need one for all media, though.
Yeah, well, that's what she does. She gave A+
Yeah,
to
this
Hacks,
is great. I wonder how she does this.
If you go
She's
to
a coder.
About, just as her blog. She's a coder.
Code.
Yeah, she can
She's
do
a
anything.
coder. Obsidian would let me do a kind of summary like this, and I think I could probably export it and post it on the blog. Right now, what I just do, and I kind of like this idea on Leo.fm, is I have a now page, which is just where I am right now, what I'm doing right now, what I'm thinking about, what my hobbies are. And I have some media stuff in there, but it's not as pretty as what she did, so. I feel like that's a good personal.
Yeah, I'm glad we mentioned that.
Personal thing. Yeah, I'm glad
Meme
Gina's doing it.
Happy birthday, Tech Meme.
Happy birthday,
Tech Meme is 20. Can you believe that?
That's a long ride home.
He doesn't do it at Tech Meme anymore.
Oh.
Brian McCullough, who does used to do the Tech Meme ride home regular on our network, has moved to another platform. I think he doesn't put on Tech Meme anymore.
I was going to say, I thought I saw it on there. Wow. Must be mistaken.
But he still does the ride home. I wish I could remember now. Because I shouldn't plug it. I should give him a plug, right?
I mean, you've said the name of it. Is that not a plug? Find it where podcasts are.
Tech Brew. It's now the Tech Brew ride home.
Okay, that's probably why.
Yeah. It's the Tech Brew
fairly similar
ride home. Yeah. It's the same show, basically. You're watching Intelligent Machines. When we return, we will do our picks of the week. Prepare yourselves. Gird your loins.
I'm girding.
Are the loins girded? Paris, you should start your pick of the week. Oh, I like this.
One of my picks of the week is the USDA website that allows you to explore over 7,000 historical watercolor paintings from the USDA Pomological Water Collection.
Wow.
This is beautiful. These are
Right?
kind of like
Custard apple? We love to see that. So
these reminded me of the Audubon bird paintings, but they're all of fruit.
In 1886, the newly established Division of Pomology embarked on an ambitious project to hire artists to paint every significant variety of fruit in America in watercolor, which served as technical documents that kind of revealed what early color photography
This is what avocados looked like in 1912. Aren't you glad?
Oh my gosh.
We don't live in...
It's kind of beautiful, though.
It's sort of, but you can tell. I mean, fruit has changed a lot.
The USDA distributed these as lithographs in bulletins that farmers used for identification, with some deliberately painted in states of decay to show what diseases to watch for, or marked as maturity tests or studies on the effect of cold storage.
Boy, bananas didn't look good in 1919.
I wouldn't pay $3 million for that.
No.
So
even
a
if
fun
it's stuck
fact
on the
is
floor.
these paintings had vanished into a government storage facility for decades until digital activists freed them through a grant to digitize them in 2009, which was followed by Freedom of Information requests in 2015. And now they're here on this website.
You know these bananas.
We've lost all this variety.
That's right. There's only one variety now of banana. And you know these ones tasted much better. These are more like plantains. Look at that.
Whoa.
Yeah. This is
I
beautiful.
finally discovered that I love
So-
green bananas.
This is a project by Andrew Haupt, who describes himself as a fermentation enthusiast, apple junkie, and software engineer, who is starting a landrace cider and wine, which I assume is a cider and wine.
So he did it himself. This is not from some government agency.
No, this is just his.
There are
website.
3,788 pictures of apples.
Well,
which is probably why it calls it the Pomological Art Gallery. But there's 959 peaches, 445 pears, 352 plums, 270 grapes. There's 7,000.
There was only one limeberry.
Only one limeberry?
Only one wampy.
Some of this stuff
Only
is
one
bizarre.
wineberry. Same goes for date, kiwi fruit, eggplant. Wow, they really weren't.
Yeah, eggplants were exotica.
Oh, they're so beautiful.
Oh, this is a beautiful eggplant. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. This just makes me want to own every copy of this.
Can we? Are we allowed to like use them in our blog?
They're over
I assume
100 years
so.
old.
They're public domain.
Yeah.
They're well over 100 years old, and they were also released
we the
under
people,
like we the people paid for them. Yeah. You can, though, contribute if you want. There's a section called Contribute. While the core data in the paintings is solid, variety names, locations, crop types, there's room for improvement in capturing the rich contextual details. Many paintings include handwritten notes, and this information provides valuable historical context, but it's written in faded ink that you can't really get at using OCR or AI to extract. If there's a lot of people, he writes, if a lot of people are interested in helping out, I will make the data directly editable. But in the meantime, if you see something you want to improve, shoot him an email at hopt.andrew@protonmail. This is on the pomological.art website, and he'll let you get started.
Wow.
It's just such a cool project that I saw, and I don't know, thought anybody could enjoy taking a gander at. Because it's
they're just gorgeous. They're really, really, really pretty.
And you know, I discovered this because someone was sharing it in Blue Sky. That leads me to my other mini pick. Blue Sky has bookmarks now. Yay!
Yes.
What?
We love
what does
to see
that mean?
It means that you can bookmark things like you would on Twitter.
You couldn't
can just
before.
click the bookmark button.
I didn't even know that Twitter had bookmarks.
Yeah, Twitter has bookmarks, which is
what does it do? It saves it. It saves.
It saves it to a little bookmark. It saves the.
Oh yeah, it's got a little
and
bookmark.
a little bookmark thing. They go over there in your bookmark tab.
Oh,
you know?
Okay.
Nice. And then you can go look at it later.
I so rarely want to save anything I read on social.
Will save it like whenever I see stories that I end up reading that I want to bring up on this show, or cool pomological art projects.
Nice. I have to say, Blue Sky has become more and more like Twitter-like. I mean, it really like the old Twitter, not the new Twitter.
It really is the sort of platform that I think you get what you put into it, and the more time you spend on it, or just even if you spend a little bit of time kind of curating who you follow and the feeds you want to see, it has really become useful. And I feel like there's a great sense of community there.
I don't know if we did the story, but more and more scientists are moving to a Blue Sky.
Yeah,
which is good. There's actually in the Discover, there's a science tab, and I think that's a really good thing to bookmark for yourself. Jeff Jarvis, pick of the week.
So I'll do a few things because that's the kind of guy I am.
You can't stop with just one.
Something that Leo has to get in his kitchen, 183, a schnitzel press.
Oh, I do need I make schnitzel at least every month.
Wait till you see this.
Oh,
it's
schnitzel.
A beautiful thing.
Oh, see, I pound it with a big hammer. Wow.
Whoa. But just one
press.
One press.
This is the kind of thing I would buy. It is so limited in purpose.
And it would take up so much counter
Yeah, it takes up all that counter space.
All of Hank's shop.
What is that you have in the kitchen? Well, that's my schnitzel press. We're going to have schnitzel tomorrow. You know, I like pounding my schnitzel. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I have a schnitzel hammer.
I have not touched that line.
And I pound it. You can, and it's kind of cheating, but when you buy the schnitzel, which I usually use pork for it, I tell the guy, tenderize it. And the butcher in the back has a thing that he runs it through. And it puts
holes in it. Right?
Yeah, it makes it softer. And so I only run it through once. And then when you pummel it, it really is nice.
Well, when I worked at Ponderosa Steakhouse.
Did you have a tenderizer or a schnitzel press?
No, but it came in, it was Australian low-grade beef. And when you took after you took it out, you pulled the meat, as we called it, out of the freezer. It was perfect for teenage boys working in there. You took a defrosted steak and you bent it back, and there were needle marks every
just tenderize it,
quarter inch. Tenderize it. Yeah, it was not.
So in both of these instances, would you guys look at it and say, "Holy schnitzel"?
Holy schnitzel! Ach du lieber, the schnitzel is so flat.
All right, then this is a show. We want to mention a number. NFL's debut on YouTube.
It's huge.
17.3 million viewers.
Yeah. Well, is that
changes
huge?
The whole thing.
Is that huge?
I think so.
It was very weird. We watched it. This was the Brazil game. And they had all these YouTubers streaming it. And they would cut away to a YouTuber. And the kind of the contrast between the professional football announcers, who are, I think, very accomplished, and the YouTubers was stark, shall we say.
So finally,
are YouTubers allowed to stream it? Is it not copywritten? Is it not like the same sort
kind of freeing it up? The NFL,
Mr. Beast,
so part
Khalil,
of it is now
Michelle Khare,
anybody can stream.
Marquez Brownlee,
which will get you to more people to watch it because you want to hear Marquez's nerdy take on it.
I'm guessing these people had deals.
A regular.
Oh, they had deals.
These people had deals.
Yeah.
You can't do this. If I streamed the NFL, it would get cut off. Yeah.
The one.
Yeah.
The one that baffled the announcers and everybody watching. They had a guy named Destroying, Dee Stroying, and he did a little sideline report, and the announcers were just nonplussed. They went, "Oh, okay." It was. Did you see it, Benito? Are you a football fan? You're probably not.
No, I don't watch football.
Besides, yeah.
But you watching every Batman version?
They had watch with streams and commentary from a stacked roster of creators, including iShowSpeed, Tom Grossi, Rabba Grills, S. Cabiche, Kazi TV, and many more. So yes, it was on YouTube. It was also being streamed on many YouTube
Just pretty amazing.
So this is something Amazon learned from Twitch, I think, because Twitch used to do this all the time with other stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Google. It's YouTube. Google learned it.
Yeah, but it wasn't the NFL on Amazon? It was on Amazon, though, right?
No, this was
YouTube.
A different deal bought by YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So same. It's all the streaming world. They all copy each other.
I was talking to a reporter today that after the Murdoch deal, where the three unhappy children were bought up by $3.3 billion, the business of Fox and sports is going to be tougher because there's more competitors to get these games now.
Yeah.
So this is a show that cares about you and your health. And so here is here is the
No, this is more Howard Stern than Intelligent Machines.
Well, it got a lot of response on the socials, Theo. A lot of response. A doctor advises that you should set a 2 TikTok limit to reduce hemorrhoid risk.
Do not sit and scroll, kids. It's just bad for you.
Or you'll be prone to piles.
You know what I don't want to do is scroll down to the rest of this article. I have no idea what that picture is going to be, but I don't think I want to see it.
It's okay.
You know what's okay, though? Sitting and podcasting for 3 hours. That's
that's what you're doing. That's a good point.
We're getting hemorrhoids for you.
That's a good point.
That's our sacrifice.
So that's why we're going to wrap this sucker up.
Actually, the important part about that fact, though.
We're all shitting right now.
The important part is that your knees are below your waist. Because when you're on the can, your knees are above your waist if you're tall enough. And that's what.
What the hell? How short is your toilet?
That's only if you buy a squatty potty, which Howard Stern used to advertise.
Yes. Next week,
Leo's changing the subject
on the show. Nick Foster is the author of a book, Could, Should, Might, Don't. This will be interesting. This is a prescription, I guess, for AI, what we should do, what we shouldn't do, what we should stay away from, what the risks are, how we think about the future. It's not just AI, it's everything. Nick Foster. Could, should, might, don't. So get to work reading that book, kids, and don't do it on the can. Unless you read a page
Only
at a
2
time.
chapters.
Yeah.
Sorry, Leo. Had to do
What a world.
Had to do it.
What a world. What a world.
It's technology.
Here's the good news. I was going to be going on vacation in a couple of weeks. We've mentioned that a couple of times, but the vacation is off because so is the south side wall of our house.
Yes.
And Lisa quite wisely believes it's an unwise thing to do to leave the home with the south wall missing.
Especially after you've discussed on a streamed podcast that you're going to be away from your home that is wall
apart.
Somebody will be home. That's all I can say.
So stay away, people.
Yes. So I am glad to say I'll be here for the remaining shows.
Too.
I will miss one twit to go down and see Henry, but
and
my
see
mom
us
and you
and see Sandwich.
I'm going to be staying in Providence where my mom is and my sister, staying with my sister. But I'm hoping to take the new Accela. Did you say Accela or Acela?
Acela.
I'm hoping to take the new Acela from Providence to New York. I booked the Acela. I hope it's in one of the newer trains. Everybody's excited.
Can you tell what
Can I do a photo shoot pitch for Hank right now? He gets 2 life-size baguette slices, dresses in a large brown trench coat, and then he's the sandwich.
I'm the sandwich now. You crazy people.
I think there's something there.
I'll mention it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I will see you all next week. Jeff Jarvis, Professor of Journalistic Innovation Emeritus at the City University of New York, now at Montclair State University and SUNY Stony Brook. He's the author of the Gutenberg Parenthesis, now in paperback, magazine, now in audiobook, and of course the web we weave. There they are. Thank you, Jeff. Always a pleasure. Paris Martineau, investigative reporter at Consumer Reports. Always a pleasure to see you. Her website, paris.nyc.
True.
We do Intelligent Machines every Wednesday right after Windows Weekly, which makes it about 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. If you're in our beautiful Club Twit disco, we've set it all up for you. You can watch there. I think of it as behind the velvet rope kind of access. But we also stream it live on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, X.com, and Kick. So watch wherever you want. Chat with us. You don't have to watch live. You just can. because we also offer downloadable audio and video of the show. That would be at twit.tv/IM for Intelligent Machines. There's a YouTube channel dedicated to intelligent machines. But if you go to the Twit YouTube channel, youtube.com/twit, you'll see links to all of the dedicated show channels and a lot of extra content that we put up on the YouTube channel there. And of course, the best way to get the show, as with all our shows, subscribe in your favorite podcast player so you get it automatically the minute we're done cleaning it up. If you're not a member of Club Twit, I hope you will join the club. It is very important to our continued survival. 25% of our operating costs are paid by club members like you. It is a great way to vote to show you you support what we do and keep it going and keep it growing. Find out more at twit.tv/Club Twit. I'm Leo Laporte. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back, Benito Gonzalez. We're glad to have you back at the helm. And we will see you all next week on Intelligent Machines. Bye-bye.
I'm not a human being, not into this animal scene.